I've got it figured out where when we start actually saying who we are, then we can bring our names up. But I don't want it. I don't want it to be.
Well, you just ruined the surprise for everyone.
It changes every time. It changes every time we do this. Who knew?
Right. So, something I came across the old interwebs the other day that I thought it would be fun to embrace debate with you two on, just because the sport is currently in the off season and we don't really have a dedicated topic to it right now. But it might be just a little fun to
anything.
Get that going. So, as you see here, this graphic, there are three. If you're not watching the video, there are three different columns here. First one says 2002 Thunder, kind of like which team are you taking type sense here. So the 2002 Thunder with Shaq, and that team included Harden, Durant, and Russell Westbrook. Then you go to the 2013 Miami Heat, which include LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh, plus you add Jokic. Or you take the 2016 Warriors of Draymond, Clay, and Steph, but then you include Joel and Embiid. So out of those three teams, who are you taking and why?
First of all, that says 2012, not 2002.
Just 2002 Thunder were in Seattle.
I just want to make that
Durant
clear.
Would have been there, baby.
That 1,000% says 2012.
Yes, 2012 Thunder. My apologies. But that is setting up, if you are not watching on the video, that is the graphic that we are currently looking at. So I have a good amount of takes on this because I argue one of these teams, you can cut out one of the people and they would still be fine.
Yeah. I don't think Embiid really moves the needle.
Correct.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You could take out Embiid on the Warriors and they would still be just as good.
Like that
I don't know how much Embiid adds to that.
Joel,
are we assuming that he has a unicorn season where he actually isn't injured and plays?
And that was my hypothetical too, was you're taking prime Shaq, like all of these guys in their prime, obviously during their teams, but like the guys that you're adding are like in their prime, which I guess for Embiid might be 1 or 2 seasons he had, but like
when he was at Kansas.
Yeah, when he was at Kansas. Like for Shaq, you're taking prime Shaq and obviously not Shaq at like the end of his career.
I would base that also on the pictures too, because that definitely looks like young Shaq, not Suns Shaq.
Yeah, and I mean you could still argue Jokic is in his prime right now, but I mean you could go back to like the 23 Jokic when they won the title with Denver, or even a couple years before that too. But I mean, it's a good topic because I'm like, I could definitely see the Heat, just dismantling everybody. But also that 2012 Thunder team was legit without Shaq. And then you add Shaq, and it's like, maybe they do get pushed to winning the finals back then instead of losing type situation.
My pick is the Heat, I think.
It's just how much defense is being played on that Heat at that time. That's not Jokic.
I don't know that matters.
Right.
You got Bosh, you can lock down the paint. You got Jokic doing whatever. Like, I mean, Jokic, arguably best player in the world at the moment. LeBron during his prime. D. Wade was still
pretty decent.
Still decent.
I was gonna say I don't know about prime, but 2013. But
I mean, is this assuming they still have like Ray Allen coming off the bench?
I'm assuming it's that same team.
That like one good year that Mario Chalmers had.
Yeah. But then I'm like, yeah, the Heat would dismantle everybody. But then I'm like, even if you take out Embiid out of the Warriors, I mean, they were still that good. Now, granted, that was also Durant was probably in the teams prior to the 2016 Warrior team, or is it after? Either one of them. But I mean, you could swap out Embiid for Durant, and then you can talk like, you're taking the 2013 Heat or the 2016 Warriors with Durant at the same time.
Depends how many assault convictions we're willing to take away from Draymond during the season.
Well, arguably all of them, because it wasn't a big of a deal at that point as it is now.
Yeah, I was gonna say these were different times in the NBA where you could get away with some of that a little bit more. Hard to believe that 2016 is damn near 10 years ago.
I know.
And then obviously 12 and 13 are even longer than that. So
right.
My memory, I can barely remember what I did last week. Yeah. Hey, yeah, I know. Math genius over here. But I'm just saying, like, I can't remember what I did last week half the time. So asking me to remember NBA stuff from back in the day outside of just like my nostalgic memories for it at that time, very, very much different.
Right. So
I say the Heat.
I would also lean the Heat, but I'm also like, I think that Thunder team probably would have won the finals if they had a prime Shaq at their time too.
Prime Shaq is pretty much Prime Kendrick. It's the same thing.
Oh,
The one thing that I would say is,
I don't know if I could compare Shaq to Kendrick.
the one thing that I would say is iffy with the 12 Thunder, and this is getting way deep into the hypothetical, is Shaq was known for being a bit of an asshole and wanting the ball all the time. And so I would wonder,
team.
right. So I would be like, would this be that moment where like too much star power becomes a problem? Like the first three, so Harden, Durant, and Westbrook they were good, obviously. But if you add Shaq to that, it's just toxic melting pot, in my opinion. Not to say that the Heat wouldn't necessarily be that either with Embiid, but not Embiid, Jokic. But at the same time, he just strikes me as a guy that's like, whatever, I don't care.
Well, yeah, it's very evident that we know basketball is Jokic's second job. Like, we know he does not care about it, even though he is the best player in the planet.
He just wants to raise horses, man.
I know.
Let him live his life.
Like all those videos I saw of him this offseason crying after his horse won. I'm like, this dude really cares about basketball very little.
That's just the paycheck to get everything else.
He just does not care about basketball.
I mean, that's a solid business model.
If I was as good at basketball as he is, and I had other ventures, you're damn right I'd be using the NBA to pay my way for everything else.
God forbid a man have hobbies.
And his hobby is really his biggest true passion, and he cares less about basketball.
I'm just waiting for him to become like a professional dart player or something randomly. Just be like, oh man, this is amazing. And you're just like,
I'd watch it though. He'd be really good at it.
Absolutely.
He's good at everything he does. He just doesn't care about the thing he's the best at.
Now, hold on. Do we know? I mean, he's very good. I'm not taking that away. But do we know that he's the best at basketball? He could be really, really good at something else. We have no idea about it.
Well, it is hard for people that are above 7 feet to be good at other sports that require a lot of running. I mean, basketball enough, you could tell, is a lot for him. So, like, you could probably take soccer out of the question unless he's a goalie. But even that,
a 7-foot soccer player would be insane.
You can just every corner kick, you're like, I'm just kicking it to Jokic's head.
That would be so funny.
I don't even know if guys can jump up that high to get
All right, Jokic, balls in your court. We gotta see it.
I would pay money to see two teams.
You put Jokic on defense. And then you just, like, every corner kick, you put Jokic in the middle, you're like, this one's coming to you, and you just head it in because they're not going to jump to get it.
You know what? I'm not even going to say anything because he's also the type of guy that'd be like, somehow he would hear us saying this. He'd be like, fine, I'll show him. And then he goes and does it.
Yeah.
He's actually an avid listener.
I knew it.
Comes out. He's just listening. He's like,
guess I gotta do soccer now.
He's just like, I have to show them how to do this.
These guys are just trying to keep me away from my horses.
I mean, the end of the year press conference, we're gonna ask Jokic after basketball season. What's your off-season plans? I got to go try out for the soccer team now.
I think Denver has an MLS team. He might be able to just get on there.
The Colorado Rapids, yes.
That'd be kind of okay, but like him versus Messi. Like, I
was just gonna say,
let's see the face off.
Put it on ABC primetime. Messi versus Jokic.
Now, when you put it like that, though, that makes it sound like a boxing match.
Yeah. That's one of those moments that somebody would reply with like a meme of a tweet, like, guy that woke up from a coma 10 years ago sees Messi versus Jokic. Like, what?
In the MLS, no less.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah, when did Messi go to the MLS?
Messi isn't he's not very he's not tall. He's taller than I am, I'm sure, but he's not like
Nobody's
tall,
fast as hell.
but he's fast. And so, but then you have the insane reach of a 7-foot person. Like that would be a very interesting, if not very lopsided, just in terms of like size difference and body types of a boxing match. And now I want to see it. Maybe not those two specifically. I just want to see like comparative body styles fight. And of course they won't do that because it'd be like, what?
I mean, we don't have that, but isn't Bud Crawford tomorrow?
I was just gonna say I was gonna bring this up at the end of the episode, but since Zach made such a good transition point about boxing, we got to at least talk about
professional podcaster
a little bit. Omaha's very own Bud Crawford defending his title. He's actually going up a weight class or two, I think, for this one to fight Canelo. Whenever this episode comes out, probably tomorrow or tonight, one of the two, whenever Zach decides to do it.
The fight's on Saturday.
Yeah,
I like how we both. I was just gonna say we all said it'll be either tonight or tomorrow. No one has any idea when we recorded this.
Nope.
We know
exactly. We know, but nobody else needs to know.
So then the ongoing debate is, well, what day was today and which day was tomorrow?
which day are we referring to?
It'll happen when it happens. Don't worry about it.
Yes. But yes, Canelo versus Crawford, Saturday night on Netflix. Probably his main card with these boxing events typically goes on about 10:30 Central Time, which usually kind of the main cardish for when these events happen. So defending his title, going up a couple weight classes for that, but it's hard not to say Crawford's not going to win just because obviously he's undefeated and everything. He's the GOAT. Earlier I had seen on Twitter just kind of like, where does he kind of rank in top of the like greatest Nebraska athletes to like do anything in their respective sport? I mean, he is very much certainly up there.
I thought you were just going to end it at do anything. It's like,
well, yeah, I mean, do anything
in
their respective sports.
We've had quite a few Nebraska athletes that have gone and done something.
Yes.
But
yes.
To answer your question, I'd argue probably the top.
GOAT. I mean, you throw in obviously Johnny Rogers, Mike Scherzer, Jordan Larson, whenever she decides to hang it up.
She would
Bob
be
Gibson.
She would be my second, I think.
Yeah.
Just because her and Bud are still doing their thing at a high level.
Yeah.
Tom Crop.
Yep. Throw him in there. Bob Gibson would throw in there. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously right now he's the modern day active athlete, if you want to call it. Certainly Bud is probably the top Nebraska athlete right now, just in terms of accomplishment, achievements, what he's done. Undefeated in every weight class that he's ever fought in. Going up 2 weight classes just to fight Canelo for this. With that, so yeah, that'll be a Saturday evening on Netflix for those that want to tune in to see Omaha and Nebraska own Bud Crawford defended another title that he is trying to keep his undefeated streak. So should be a good fight. Probably should be a lot more interesting than the last one that he fought. Hopefully it doesn't come down to 12-round decision by judge at the end like the last one did. But we'll see.
As long as it comes down to be a better fight on Netflix than the Jake Paul Tyson one was, we'll be fine.
Hopefully they figured that out streaming wise, but also the fight itself. Yeah,
30-year-old versus the cherry.
I would just like to point out, I know this might be heresy here in terms of what I'm about to say, but I don't quite think they're going to get the same type of numbers for viewership for this one as they did for that one, just because that was such a stupidly high marquee type fight. The fight itself was not. The names on the card absolutely were, though.
Yes.
So I think it should get as much viewership as that because this is a real fight. But
no, the other one was real. It was the best in the business.
I mean, it was real in the sense that it happened.
Yeah.
That's about all I'm going to give it. And that's the worst part about fights like that is you stay up forever. Oh my God, that made me sound old as hell. But you stay up forever.
Well, it's true though for boxing.
Yeah, you stay
That's
up forever, and then by the time you're going to bed at midnight, you either saw a really fantastic title card fight
Yep.
or you saw that. Like,
Yeah.
Especially
middle
though
ground.
this weekend, where like Nebraska's at the 11 a.m. game. You gotta make it through the
Yeah.
rest of the day for the Bud Crawford fight later that night.
And we'll
Yeah.
get to college football. I mean, the afternoon slate, and so there's some good evening games, but the afternoon slate for Saturday looks incredible, which is why I'm thankful Nebraska plays at 11.
Well, with that,
Yeah, with that, we'll
let's
transition.
roll into it. Welcome back to the Sportsball Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. We're
back.
professionals at this. We are so good at this.
That's why we're the #1 podcast.
That's right.
If you forgot our names,
Yeah. go
that
for
is
it,
Zach.
big guy.
that is Nate, and I am Andy, and we are the #1 podcast in the world. Like we had mentioned last time, not just sports podcasts anymore, just the #1 podcast in the world right now. And please do not fact check us.
Or
It's
do,
ridiculous. If you
but don't-
feel the need to
you-
fact check us,
You can fact check us, just don't let us know.
Yeah.
We don't care what you do with the factual information you may or may not find. Just don't let us know. We don't care.
Yeah. No, we don't. We don't care to know that information. We just know that in our heart of hearts that we are the #1 podcast in the world, and that is what matters at the end of the day.
Damn straight.
With that, we will quickly transition to baseball for a couple minutes because there's still coming down towards the end of the playoff race before we get into our deep dive into all things
4
football.
more
'Cause
months
that's gonna be-
left.
Well, do you know something about the schedule that I don't know?
Season's got 3 more years to go. We're almost there, fellas.
I mean, yeah. If you think about it as a not sports baseball fan, then yes, that's probably what it feels like to most people. With that, as you may or may not know, for Zach and Nate's teams, probably out of the playoff race.
Hey. Technically not eliminated yet.
Not
Just
eliminated yet.
Only the White Sox and the Rockies have been eliminated. So
Just because the Twins, according to ESPN, have a less than 0.1% chance doesn't
Team
mean
is totally not out
that
of
it's
it either.
technically not possible.
Zach is only 4 games out of the wild card spot. But the issue is there's like 3 weeks left, and there's not that many games left anymore.
yeah, it's gonna be tough. That's okay. It's hopefully one of those. It's a retool and get back. Maybe be better next year. But
Essentially,
gonna be
Nate,
rough.
the Twins have to win out and hope that every team above them loses.
Hey. 0.1% chance, baby. Sorry, less than.
Less than.
Less though.
Sorry, math is not my strong suit. Ignore what I said earlier.
Right.
Don't fact check me.
You're only 14.5 games back of a wild card spot.
So since Nate's and my team are not generally very great this year, no offense, Nate.
Not this year.
Let's talk about the Red
Next
Sox real quick then.
Red Sox are still in a tight race for the AL East, if not the wild card. They're playing the Yankees this weekend, actually, so it's a really big playoff implication game, I guess series that they're playing. And they play the Yankees this weekend, then they have a season series left with Toronto, but then I think that's it for the AL East games. I think they play Detroit the end of season, which woof. Hope it doesn't come down to those 3 games because that might be rough. But the Rangers just swept the Tigers, so like anything can happen, I guess. I think it was the Rangers. Somebody swept the Tigers recently.
Pretty sure the Twins did that somewhat recently.
Yeah. So like maybe it's not all lost that the Tigers can't keep losing. But anyways, Red Sox are about 3.5 games out of the East. They're 2.5 games up at the wild card right now. More than likely, unless Toronto falters and the Red Sox keep winning, well, the Red Sox will grab one of those wild card spots and probably head to Yankee Stadium for the first round of the playoffs, which, I'm indifferent about. I mean, the Red Sox are like 8-1 against the Yankees this year. And and they took 3 out of 4 games their last season series at Yankee Stadium. So like, I'm not too worried about it. I would rather have that season series or the playoff series at home versus the Yankees than at Yankee Stadium. But they just got to win the playoff series, and then they'll have some home games. But it's been like I said, a surprisingly surprising season. Given after the Devers trade, I was kind of like, well, crap. I mean, they just kind of sold their franchise player, and now they're hoping that these young guys can step up and get them to the playoffs. And so far, it's been actually pretty well. Their starting pitching's gotten better. Bullpen's still shaky game to game, but Aroldis Chapman has actually been a baller his past however many saves starts that he's made. He's given up 1 hit in like the past 51 plate appearances that he's faced. Now, granted, that 1 hit was the walk-off 2 nights ago against the A's, which is really a bummer. But he's been a lot better as a reliever this year, and I think the Red Sox extended him for a couple seasons this past week. So he's for the foreseeable future the Red Sox closer. But what made me sad was Roman Anthony is probably now out until the playoffs, and that is kind of a big bummer, considering he obviously is the breakout rookie that they called up this year, and he's been fairly well since he's been in the majors, but kind of an oblique strain that he's been dealing with. But the Red Sox make it to the playoffs, he'll probably be back for that. Just hope it's not a whole lot of rust that he tries to knock off. Pretty much not playing for a month before the playoffs. So yeah, that's the Red Sox update. Just hoping that they can grab on one of those wild card spots, because Houston and the Mariners are quickly on their tails. Rangers are making a push. So that whole division right now is that whole division itself is up for the grabs between the Rangers, Mariners, and Astros. So that'll be a fun race to the end. And then, seeing who finishes between the Dodgers and the Padres out of that division, probably the Dodgers, just because money's not existent to LA.
Yeah.
But that's not an LA problem. That's a baseball problem in general. By the lead man commissioner, Manfred, who thinks that money grows on trees, so there's no reason to have a cap on anything. But
Tell me it doesn't.
Yeah,
To be fair, I mean, the Dodgers have been good this year, but as of right now, if we're just
it's
strictly
not been
going
like
off
the
of
Dodgers that
winless-
we would have known the past couple of years.
right. They haven't been quite dominant. Now,
No.
of course, there's always the
Connie
difference between
washed.
regular. There's always the regular season team, and they might change when they get to the playoff, which is where it matters. So
The Mariners I would be happy with. They would
figure
be a
as we
fun playoff team to root for.
I figure as we get closer to like playoffs, as they kind of get a little more concrete, then we can kind of do our sneaky picks for who we would like to see. There's gonna be the obvious ones that get up there, like who we
Big
think's
dumper.
gonna go that way. But yeah, like Seattle being the team that I'm gonna kind of watch favorably. So
I can not root for a guy that's nickname is Big Dumper.
Every baseball he hits will be a home run in the
Well,
postseason.
Yeah.
You
and
heard it here
Schwarber.
I'd be fine with that for at least. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
World
but
Series, Mariners and Phillies, but it's just Schwarber and Cal Raleigh at bats. It's like a home run derby between those two. Whoever hits the most home runs wins the World Series.
But the difference here is
wow.
that the pitches have to be like true, like actual pitches.
Yeah,
They
not
can't be
home run
just like
derby
the-
pitches.
Yeah, they can't be the.
But they
can't
would
be
both hit them
the-
out of the park anyways, because that's all they've done all year.
So then, I think we kind of already know who's going to be the MVP of the regular season, which a lot of people are making the argument that it should be Cal Raleigh, except for
Should
the
be.
only thing that he's leading right now is home runs, where Aaron Judge is leading everything else.
Yeah, it was that stupid Yankee called Aaron Judge. No
Hey,
one even likes him anyways.
no one likes people like the Yankees. They also like the Cowboys and the Lakers, but whatever. We don't go there.
Yeah.
But I will give Aaron Judge credit. He's a damn good ball player.
Yeah, I hate him.
You wouldn't hate him as much if you weren't a Red Sox fan.
Probably, but I still wouldn't like it.
Fair. I'll give you that. No one has to like it because he's on the Yankees. But if he was doing this on any other team, people would be like, all right, yeah, I like that.
There's only ever been one Yankee in my entire lifetime that I've never had like a true hatred passion towards, and that was Derek Jeter. And that's just because Jeter was a baller at everything he did.
Remember when Mark Wahlberg shot him?
Good times, man. Good times.
Good reference.
But yeah, long and short, baseball's still baseballing, but we're getting closer.
Yeah,
now
only 4 more months.
4 more months.
Almost there.
Of just the regular season. The playoffs will be
yeah.
December when there's snow everywhere, but they got to play the games.
At this point, why don't they just make it a year-round thing? Just like, the new season starts in March, like it usually at the end of March, like it usually does.
No, they'll be playing the World Series in May, but the new season will be starting in March still.
No, this isn't the NBA. The MLB will at least have it wrapped up by then.
Which
the NBA is just like
every time that I see the opening game date for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm like, the season just got done, and it's next month.
That's insane to me.
Like they finished a couple months ago, and the season starts next month again, and I'm like, what? They just got done playing.
Repeat.
Why the playoffs are too damn long. It's 2 months of it.
Before the NBA
regular
starts,
season's too long.
I was gonna say before the NBA starts up, Nate needs to give us his, and we don't have to do this now, but we just need to remind ourselves as we get closer to the start of NBA season. He needs to give us his spread out of how the season needs to be, because I agree it should be shorter.
Oh, I have the perfect proposal already.
See,
locked out in my brain here. It foolproof. Everyone would love it.
Do you think Alien Boy's
Trust
gonna
me.
listen to
Trust
you?
me.
Alien Boy.
He just said his own league was a highlight league.
That was such an insane take.
Nobody watches the games anymore. They just watch the highlights. Like, what?
Like even if that's
people not to watch your games.
I was gonna say, even if that's halfway true, which arguably I think he's somewhat right. And I say somewhat as in like a lot of people really just kind of keep up with highlight. Like me, I didn't watch as much of NBA as I usually try to last year. Kept up with the highlights, but I was a Suns fan last year. There were no highlights.
Yeah.
But
it makes sense for teams that are like, once you get halfway through the season, knowing that like you're not gonna make it to the playoffs, like at that point, I would get it. Like from the Suns' perspective, absolutely. But
I was actively rooting against the Suns today,
yeah,
just because I didn't want. I was like, they don't deserve to get into the play-on, and they didn't.
But
so
I'm just saying, my proposal would actually help with a little bit of that too.
Yeah. When the leader of the freaking company or whatever here, the entire organization of the NBA says, it's a highlights league. What?
Nobody watches the games.
Have you considered that he's a billionaire and his opinion's always right, though?
It's true.
You want the craziest thing, though?
You aren't thinking of the billionaires, Zach.
Maybe. Maybe. But here's the craziest thing to me is that arguably, in my opinion, the NBA and the MLB probably have the two best packages in terms of like, if you want to stream your team, it's really easy to do it.
Yep.
And so it's like, bro, you have the corner of the market on how to do a streaming service.
Blackouts weren't a thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Every sport right now has that, though, except for
someone that lives as Zach, as we live in a state that doesn't have a pro team, but we can't watch 4 pro teams because of blackout restrictions on League Pass.
Hey, don't worry, they're never finding their portfolios. Now you also have Peacock and Prime.
I'm just strictly talking from the logic of it. Now, if you're in market, obviously, I'm guessing it usually gets like aired somewhere, like the Nebraska games here do. I assume, but that's only really if you're local.
A lot of
blackout restrictions for Nebraska are stupid, insane, dumb.
Like a lot of the Thunder games, every time they tweet out like where to watch, like the home games or away games, things like that, it always says like the FanDuel app or like, Oklahoma channel, whatever, for like the local market. So it very much is like the same thing where like those in-market teams, or I guess if you're in the market of the team, like you'll have the kind of like ABC, NBC, CBS. Like you'll have those games over the air broadcasted, but everybody else does like either League Pass or the FanDuel Sports app network, whatever you want to call it. Even though the NBA is against gambling, don't let that fool you.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Sports gambling is a whole different argument to tackle later, but
It might
We
be
don't
cool.
condone it, but we're gonna let
It
this
might be
company
cool
run it.
with letting your owners pay money to companies to pay to players to circumvent the salary cap
Yeah,
and pay their players more. TBD on that.
TBD.
well, actually, you know how that's going to go. It's going to be for certain players. It's not going to be applicable for everybody, which obviously is how they would do it by giving that person extra money. But my point being is that if you do it for somebody that might not be quite on the names or the big name list, that team will get in trouble if they do it for like their B tier people.
It is just a little suspicious that Kawhi just happened to get, I think, $1 million under the salary that he would have been able to sign for if he stayed with the Raptors.
Every meme comparison I've seen of the story that has come out has always been some sort of like Mafia or Sopranos reference, to where like it's the guy, like it's like Tony and Chris. If you guys have seen The Sopranos, showing up to a no-show job, which is like it's the literal definition of it, where like Tony and Chris are employees, quote unquote employees of like a trash company that they say they work for, but like obviously they're getting money under the table. So like Kawhi is a employee of this tree company, but he's not getting any because he doesn't show up to the work. Like it's the same thing.
You know what would happen if I didn't show up to my job every day? I would get fired
Right.
with no pay. I don't get any extra $30 million sign-on bonus.
Right.
I wish.
And
But
that is just a hilarious story to come out. And of all teams, too, the geriatric Clippers.
I mean, this is the most. When you look at the ownership of the Clippers, though, it's like this is just the
it makes
most.
sense.
No,
This is by far the most Clippers story ever, off season wise. Totally, I'm just like, no, this makes
It
this
lines
makes
up.
total sense.
All right.
Well, somehow we went from the MLB to the NBA talk, and both
That
of
I said we
these
weren't going
are.
to talk about.
Well, no, like that's fine. Just the NBA snuck its way in. I'd say
But with
we're doing
that,
all right.
Zach, we're going to go to the professional side of the foosball that officially did kick off last week with your reigning Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, after an hour lightning delay.
Oh my god, I was so tired that night too. I
Did
am old.
eventually thawed
I
out
did that just for you, Zach.
the Cowboys 24-20 in a very sluggish second half that allowed 3 points total.
Mhm.
All things said and done, but
Wasn't it? It wasn't even really a second half. It was after the rain delay. It was two noticeably different teams in terms of offense. Which
first half was like, this is a back and forth game. The offenses are humming, the defenses are trying to get it up. Delay happens, and after halftime, everybody's like, we just finished the game. Let's just go home.
Second half was like, is this football?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there is something to be said that, when your team's in a rhythm and the game is ongoing outside of halftime being the only longer break, and you saw it happen there. I mean, both offenses afterwards looked just off. To be fair,
sluggish.
the Eagles offense at times looked really good. And then at most, I thought they looked a little questionable, but I think it's that they don't like their starters don't do any preseason stuff outside of like workouts and stuff. They don't play in the preseason games, which I don't know where I land on that. I get it. I don't quite get it. I wish they would, just to kind of keep some of the rust off, but I also get like you want to save your best players to not do that. So whatever. I don't coach the team. I'm not gonna.
Best case study of why they should play a little bit in the preseason is the Bengals.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
arguably yes, but also like the Eagles won a hard fought game. I think the Dallas defense deserves quite a bit of credit in the sense of they played a really good defense.
And I was
even
just
without
gonna
Michael
say,
Parsons.
It's obviously one game is a very small sample size right now. We'll know more about both teams going forward, but for how much of the talk was like, how are the Cowboys going to look on defense without Micah? Like, this defense is going to be trash and so on and so forth. And they hold their ground for a lot of that game, making it very tough for Philly to move the ball at all. So we'll see, obviously, as that plays out, whether that defense was a fluke game type performance against Philly, or if that's kind of, Dallas might have somewhat of a competent defense. Because it's, as long as Dak stays healthy, they have the weapons on offense, mainly just CeeDee Lamb. But
I don't know. Pickens did all right. I mean, he
Pickens
didn't
did all
necessarily
right.
move the needle, but he definitely took some heat off of CD.
Right. But that offense runs through Dak. We saw last year, if Dak's not in the game, that offense is putrid.
Yeah.
So
Although, if we're going to talk about, it's unfair to say that this offense would have been the same had Jalen Carter not decided to eject himself from the game 6 seconds in.
very much so.
I missed the opening kickoff because I was getting a drink. Like I got the game up and I was like, I'm gonna go grab some water, and then it came back in to watch it, and I missed the kickoff.
Spitgate.
Well, so then, but I had people at my house and we were all sitting around talking, and so I had it on mute, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I finally had to get it. I couldn't find the remote. I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are we talking about this?" There was an injury. Freaking Spitgate. I was like, okay, this is bad.
Could not have
Thankfully,
started the season on a better way.
I mean, honestly, that set
flag
the
on the
tone.
kick,
should have
an
expected
injury, an
that.
ejection. I mean, what more could you want on an opening kickoff at the
That
NFL
set
season?
the tone for the entire weekend. And admittedly, the first weekend of NFL football was just fire. It was awesome.
It's week 1 for the refs too. We all can say that. It's week 1 for everybody.
Yeah. The refs were doing a little ticky-tacky, but that was across the board in every game that I watched, so whatever. From my quick rundown on the Eagles, from what I haven't said already, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think offense should do well once they get, as long as AJ Brown's not actually hurt.
AJ Brown the ball.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, though, is like the Dallas defense played the receivers damn good. And I mean, the Eagles adapted. So, of course, people that are fantasy owners are like, do I drop AJ Brown? It's like, all right, hold on.
It's clearly washed.
I don't know about that.
Anybody want
Just like Otani. It's
just like
all downhill from here.
Regardless, the biggest question mark for the Eagles offense is going to be the offensive coordinator, but I'm not going to say the offensive coordinator did a bad job. The offense adapted.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, well, now he's at the Saints, so we don't have Kellen Moore anymore. So, to be fair, the Eagles started slow last year. They were 2-2 before they went on up to the Super Bowl to win it. So yeah, we'll see.
It's week 1 it's such a small sample size.
I'm excited to
super overreact to the Chiefs losing.
We'll get there. Well, actually, we should wait for the super overreact until after this weekend, because if they go 0-2, I think I read somewhere that's the first time since 2009, which is, I mean, that's not insane, too. But yeah, it's crazy that we're looking at a real possibility of it happening if the Eagles, and I'll be really curious to see how the defense does with Jalen Carter, so long as he doesn't eject himself from the game, because he got a fine.
That's a bold assumption.
Play this time.
He got a fine and a 1-game suspension for it, which technically the 1-game suspension was served because he didn't play the entire game.
He didn't even play a play.
Yeah, right.
He was going out to play, and then he got ejected.
Yeah. So, that was the other thing I was going to say about the offense. The guy that got hurt on the kickoff, he was going to be used. I think they said he was a fullback.
Is that that's not Will Shipley, is it?
No. Ben Van Sumeren or something like that. I can't.
Sounds like a fullback name.
Like I know of who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name because it's a weird long one. But anyway, he was supposed to be kind of like a big-ish part of the offense, kind of. I don't know necessarily. He wasn't supposed to be like a Saquon type, but he was supposed to be kind of an offset to Saquon. So the offense and defense, by all accounts, had to really adapt in the last second like that. So they won. I think Dallas is probably going to be better than a lot of people assumed after trading away Parsons. which was still insane, but they did
Yeah.
it. So,
That's because
and we saw last night how Green Bay looks with him last night and last Sunday. So
Yeah,
Green Bay looks a little scary.
they do, and that is unfortunate for Nate. But
Nah, it's fine.
it's either
I'm not worried about it.
It's either they look
I'd be a little
scary
worried.
or Washington may
Or
not
Washington
be
is bad.
Well, I don't know if they're bad. I just don't know if they're as good as everybody hyped them up to be. The sophomore slump, it's been 2 games, so the Giants are bad this year. I think we can already assume that.
That's because they keep playing Russell Wilson.
And it's I have said
think.
all along, like, is Jameis gonna throw 4 picks? Yes. But is he also going to throw 4 touchdowns in the same game?
It's going to be a lot more fun to watch.
How else is he going to get a 30 for 30? And I'm not talking about the documentary series. I'm talking 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Like, yeah,
you got to play him.
A lot of picks, but he's also going to throw a lot of touchdowns in the same game for you. And it's going to be a lot more entertaining than watching Russ try to spin out of a sack, which he has never done.
Yeah.
No, this time he's going to do it, though.
God, and what did Dayball came out and say that they're going to stick with Russ for week 2? I'm like, all right, take whoever the Giants are playing against.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I have heard that the Giants might be inclined to start Jackson Dart soon, but they're waiting until they get their offensive line healthy again. Which fair enough.
You don't want to kill your rookie QB that you drafted in his first game.
Yeah.
Which unless Russ like showed out last week or like even in this next game, it's very much, I think, just a bridge the gap veteran type quarterback room until you think Dart is ready to kind of take over, which is not surprising at all. It's the fact that they're sticking with it.
At this point, though, like Russell Wilson is doing his best to talk himself out of potential like Hall of Fame talks. I don't know if he was quite there, but he was damn good a long while ago, and he's just starting to. Probably. Yeah, and if he would have left Seattle and then like left the league, like retired at that point, which would have been crazy because he wasn't that old, but he was getting old at that point. I would have been like, no, maybe Hall of Fame is a bit of a reach, but I could certainly see the argument being made.
Right.
But no, he's done everything he can to completely negate that.
Yeah,
and maybe that's not fair, but I don't know.
Personally, I would like to see Cam Scatteraboo play a lot more than Tracy, but that's just me.
Dude, he impressed the hell out of me on a couple of his runs too, because
the issue with him is he looks for contact. He looks for contact instead of trying to avoid it and run further. He just looks to hit people.
The weeks he does play will be great, but he'll be out for half the season.
Well, that's the problem is that. But I mean, he plays for the Giants. He's going to have to assume he's going to get hit. So if he goes looking for it, maybe he'll get ahead.
That's true. That's actually a good trait to have.
Which is an insane mentality to have, but he looked good when at least asking for contact or going to find it, I guess. Although, before we get to your guys' games, because there was a lot that happened in both of them, I think the other game that we have to talk about that none of us, I think, were expecting. I think, but yours had a little bit going on in it too.
Unfortunately, it didn't have to, but unfortunately, it did.
But I think the other game that we have to talk about is the the Jets and the Steelers.
Dude,
what the hell was that game? It was amazing. That was an amazing. Well,
it was an incredible game, but like nothing that we would have expected out of those two teams.
Exactly. You didn't expect a shootout between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields?
No.
My favorite thing that I've seen after that happened, somehow I got myself into 5 freaking fantasy leagues this year, which is
proud of you.
3
That's
too
more
many.
Than me.
Which is 3 too
I'm at 4.
I tried to take a break from fantasy football like 3 years ago, and it just keeps.
I remember that conversation, and look where you are now.
Yeah, I'm right back in it. Anyway,
couldn't stay away.
Anyway, my favorite thing was the trend of watching everybody be like, "I'm going to drop my QB and get Aaron Rodgers." I'm like, no freaking way is he going to have that type of game again. Now, I'm not saying that because they played the Jets in the sense of like, it was just the Jets. That's part of it, but like the Jets defense didn't look bad. That was just a shootout of a game.
That
I mean,
just
they
sounds
didn't-
like comments from someone who's upset they weren't able to grab Aaron Rodgers off waivers.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers off the waivers. We saw what happened when he
Don't
ran
put it
out
on the internet
the-
that I want him.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I do not. But that game was electric. There's one other game that absolutely we'll have to talk about that isn't your guys's, but we'll get there.
That game, the Falcons losing on Young Wei-Koo like 2 years ago was like he's gonna be the next best kicker, and then he's been absolute crap the past 2 years. And it's like, what happened? I mean, had a chance. I think it was to tie the game, right? That he missed.
Mhm. Yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, and it's just like
My working theory is that Kirk Cousins brought the Vikings kicking curse over to the Falcons when they get traded.
I believe it because
So
like 2 years ago, Young Wei-Koo was like, this kid is automatic from anywhere, and now he's like, you can't count on him anymore.
And then Cole's Kirk strolled in.
Cole's Kirk.
That happened. The Bengals, I mean, they start off slow every single year, but they did not look.
They should have lost.
They should have lost.
That's the thing.
Like, I mean,
well,
I know, like the Eagles start slow
every year.
The Bengals
They
should have
lost
lost to the Browns.
Here's the thing, though. The Browns lost that game in the most Browns way because they got to the end where they had it wasn't a lot of time, but they definitely had enough time to do something to, I think they were only down by was it to go for
a field goal? They were down by 1 point and then they missed a field goal.
Yeah.
Regardless. Like, and then the last like 15 seconds or whatever, they just Brownsed it out. And like, okay, well, Cincinnati got mad lucky that they won. Obviously, we all agree with that. But
I will proffer a theory for the next game. Is there a chance that Mike McDaniels makes it to the season?
No.
Well, I don't think so. The Dolphins suck. Tyreek is probably not going to play the rest of the year based on these NFL investigation things that are going to happen now from his domestic abuse charges.
If
maybe don't be the worst type of human, and you can still play your football.
They're going to lose, and Tyreek has been downhill since he left the Chiefs, anyways. So like it's not like they're losing a big piece of their offense, but
arguably they might be losing the only part of their
the only part that's not Achane.
So the
Dolphins look like doo-doo.
I don't disagree that Achane is a great runner. The problem is you have to have the ability to get him somewhere to run with. So you give him the ball, great, but this is the Dolphins who look like absolute crap.
Big doo-doo.
He's not going to be able to do anything. It's the Saquon with the Giants type thing.
Yeah.
Tua might be cooked.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah. Cooked. Sir Tua has gotten like 8 concussions now.
A couple other games I'll get to. Here I thought like, oh, here we go with the 49ers again. They win this big, great game in Seattle on a walk-off play from, well, not a walk-off, but a walk-off offensive drive, last drive by Brock Purdy to whoever he threw to. I'm like, oh, great. You know, Seahawks might suck, but 49ers are here. And then everybody gets hurt on the 49ers.
Yeah, like the entire team is just gone.
Arguably not Christian McCaffrey.
That's not
enough.
But now they're down Purdy, they're down Kittle. Juwan Jennings might not play this week. So now you've got Mac Jones, Ricky Purcell, and McCaffrey for however long McCaffrey's going to stay alive.
I know.
And that's about it
this
for
week. This week. Now. It'll be this week.
This week. So 49ers are going downhill.
And I know I said this to our text group, but as much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys, I can at least offer up that they played a really good game last Thursday. Yeah. But man, it does my cold heart. It warms my cold heart to see the 49ers struggle. I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is, but I just cannot stand the 49ers. Right. Arguably worse than the Cowboys to me. Right. So
what I'll ask Nate is kind of along the Packers kind of timeline that we're going to talk here. The Lions, I don't know what to make of that game. I mean, yeah, the Packers manhandled them, but like is it because the Packers are good that the Lions have one bad game, or the Lions doo-doo? Like, I don't know what to make of that performance from them.
Yeah, they're gonna be interesting to see like this coming week because you can make the case that the Packers defense was just like good enough to suppress everything they had.
Right.
You can also make the case that they're implementing a new offensive coordinator. It's going to take time for that to figure itself out. But
And defensive coordinator. They lost both their guys.
yeah,
I think I saw the stat was like Jared Goff that is not coached by like Sean McVay or Ben Johnson's like 0-130 or something like that.
Oh my god.
As an offensive coordinator, like anybody that hasn't been, I think it's been Shea Johnson and maybe one other coach that has coached Goff, but like any of those guys that have not been offensive coordinators, Jared Goff has never won with any other offensive coordinator, but like those 2 or 3 guys. And that is an incredible stat. Which just tells you
incredibly
who Ben
bad.
Johnson and Sean McVay have been, at least for Jared Goff's development. But yeah, I didn't know what you thought of that, Nate, because one, obviously they're your division opponents, but like the Lions really surprised me with how bad they looked.
yeah. Oh,
Especially
I mean,
since
you
they
can
got, like,
you can
most of their
always make the
defense
case
back.
that it was a little fluky last year too, because
Right.
their playoff run was as dominant as the Vikings was last year. So, like,
And Denver's playoff run last year.
yeah, there we go.
One and done. We said no more football for us. We want to go rest. Who cares about winning the Super Bowl anyways?
It's pretty fun.
I do
actually.
think I feel like they should respond. I don't know. The Lions feel like they have too good of a roster to not be relevant, but
I do. And
it
that's the
is
thing.
Detroit, so I'm leaving
They've
the door
arguably
open
kind
for
of
anything.
the best 1-2 running back duo in the league. Amon-Ra, and then between like Jameis Williamson or Williams, whatever his name is, and then
Jameson
Laporta.
Williams and Laporta,
I mean, it's
the
it's
exploding
kinda like
Tesla.
who had an incredible touchdown catch at the end of the garbage time points.
So then here's the thing to proffer, like you said. Is it a Jared Goff problem? And I don't think he was the problem as to why they lost, but do you start thinking like, oh, well, do we need a better quarterback? Again, I don't think Jared Goff is
Hell are their
the
backups to
problem,
begin with?
although he might
I'm
become a problem.
just saying they could bring in Aaron Rodgers.
Let's look.
Well, that's a little late for that right now. Arguably, I do think, I know we've already gone past that, but I think arguably that the Steelers, I think the Lions game was,
Their
Not a
backup quarterback is Kyle Allen.
I don't think he's going to move the needle, but
I don't think so either.
But I don't think the game was a
I mean,
fluke.
you're not benching Goff for
No,
someone that's not
absolutely
better
not.
than Goff.
Not unless his brain gets scrambled like Tua.
Not unless you absolutely have to. You're not benching Jared Goff.
No.
Agreed. And I'm not saying, like I said, he's not the problem right now. I just think he could become a problem if suddenly if they start to tumble. Who do they play this weekend?
That's a good question.
Let's see here.
Wow, we're so good at our
Bears.
jobs, guys.
The
Go
Bears.
Bears.
Oh,
Go
well,
Bears.
That
I
actually
guess
might be a really good game.
depending on 1,000%, depending on how they respond against the Bears, which, I mean, you just let Caleb Williams do his thing and he'll probably lose the game for him.
Right. Before Nate, the last 2 games that we'll talk about before we actually talk about the Sunday night game, because that was chef's kiss of that game.
That was arguably the best game of the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chargers Chiefs was intriguing to say the least.
Justin
More
Herbert,
because
this might be his year.
Yeah.
Just like Kyle Pitts, this year's going to be the year.
So let's pump the brakes on Kyle for a second. He got the ball, but it was in garbage time.
Hey man, fantasy points are fantasy points.
They are.
Right.
And I don't even have him on my team anymore. So
I mean, I do agree that the Chargers are a good favorite to win the AFC West right now. Not just based on that game, but like going into the season, I thought it's just like Harbaugh's year 2 kind of got it figured out. If there's anybody that's going to fix Herbert's problems, it's probably going to be Jim Harbaugh. Unfortunately, but that's just what Harbaugh does. That game, I I don't want to say it's Kansas City's downfall. I mean, I always want to say that, but like, I don't think that game encapsulates it, but I think it is a good case study that it might be the start of what you're seeing of like great quarterbacks that are still great in their prime, but then the team is starting to fall off around them. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, his last couple of years in Green Bay, like obviously he was still a really good quarterback in Green Bay. They just, the team around him just wasn't very good. And now you look at where he's at. I mean, Russell has not been the greatest quarterback, but his time in Seattle was great, and that he's been team hopping ever since. No, obviously I hated most of his time in Denver.
That was the gentlest you could have put that, my guy.
Yeah, I know.
That was very generous.
You are far too nice. And I didn't like Russell Wilson as a Wisconsin Badger, clearly, but
no.
But like, I didn't mind him as an NFL player.
Flashbacks.
But man, he, like I said, he's trashing his own legacy.
Right.
It's time.
But now it's like Xavier Worthy's out, Rashid Rice is still out. So now it's like Hollywood Brown and an aging tight end of Kelsey. Plus,
I think Kelsey's also gonna start to really he declined last year. I think this year's gonna be really bad.
And then, their defense is still trying to figure out some new pieces. Their offensive line is still trying to figure out new pieces. I know they traded one of them to the Bears, and I think they traded away another one. So, it's hard to say that you won't bet against Kansas City because it's still Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Kind of what I've said the past couple of years. It's like, trying to bet against Brady and Belichick at that time. It's like you just don't do it because they always seem to figure it out. Until proven otherwise. And, until proven that Kansas City is kind of on the downward trajectory, like Zach said, this Sunday's game is going to be a big test of that too. They're at home, but the Eagles are coming off a win. Kansas City's coming off a lackluster performance in Brazil. We'll see.
You just need to stop injuring their own players. I think that'd be a good starting point for
that. Is a really good start to consider. Is stop elbow on shoulder checking your own wide receivers.
Yeah, wasn't it? Didn't Worthy take out Pacheco last year early on?
Yeah.
And then Kelsey repaid the favor. I guess this year.
Yeah. Maybe they should stop doing that. I know you said that.
They should,
but I'm just reiterating. They should probably stop.
It's just a theory I've been, playing around with. So
right. But then I'm also like, are the Chargers better than we think that they were coming into the season? And I do think the Chargers are better for sure. Now whether it's a Quentin Johnson one-off game remains to be seen because he's been bad up until apparently Brazil. So we'll see if he just has the Brazil magic or if he's actually kind of good this year.
Don't discount Keenan Allen though.
I would love to see the Chargers win the Super Bowl. I would love to see the Chargers win the Super Bowl because then we could say that we watched Justin Herbert lose to a Mike Riley Nebraska football team.
Yes.
Super Bowl champion Justin Herbert lost to a Mike Riley.
He sure did.
Nebraska football team.
Now, I'll admit, I wouldn't hate the Chargers getting to the Super Bowl. As long as we don't see the freaking Chiefs get there again, I literally do not care.
They're the least AFC West team that I hate. Like they're
I thought you were about to start making the argument that Chargers should be in the NFC. They're like they're the least AFC worthy, and I was like I really want to know where this is going.
No, of my division opponents that I hate, they're like the least that like if they won, I'd be like, yeah, I don't have that much hatred towards you guys like I do with the Chiefs and Raiders.
The Chiefs are easy, and the Raiders make sense, so that's totally fair.
The Raiders have a very long rivalry history with Denver over like the other two.
I don't know. I think the Chiefs are. They could win against the Eagles on Sunday, and unfortunately, I'm going to be gone, so I won't get to watch the game. But I would almost be willing to bet it's one of those where it comes down to an ugly type win, almost like a voodoo magic like last year. And it's then the question becomes. They may have won and, did they win? Did the Eagles lose it kind of thing? where does the voodoo magic finally, is it finally starting to fade after getting conked out in the Super Bowl and then opening the season 0-1? I mean,
Right.
NFL games already are at a premium. You don't play that many a year. Arguably, they play too many now, is what the players are saying, but they still don't play that many.
No,
Starting off 0-1.
25 game sketch.
Especially if you play for the 49ers.
Yeah. Can't even make
You
it
know
through a
what?
game.
That's all right. That's okay. I don't wish for injuries, but if there's a team that I'm like, you know what, I don't feel as bad, it's 49ers. So,
all right. I think we should talk about our games first, Nate, before we talk about the Sunday night game. Because I think the Sunday night game is probably the best one.
I mean,
I would think
arguably the best game of week 1.
My game, kind of in a nutshell, Denver's defense still really, really good. Offense probably is just showing some first game rust, I would hope, and I really hope so. They did beat the Titans 20-12, mostly because of their defense and playing a rookie quarterback in his first NFL game. Cam Ward's going to be, he looked pretty decent despite, getting sacked 6 times and, throwing for like 133 yards. Again, most of that's because Denver's defense is really good. But Titans are going to be, I think, a little bit better than most people think. Their lines are really good. Their skill players, not so much, besides Cam Ward. Calvin Ridley dropped 3 balls. He dropped like 3 crucial passes, too.
That's because his parlay was under.
Yes, under receptions. Overall, I'm just hoping it's just a week 1 kind of shake it off game for the Denver offense. They won that game despite turning the ball over 4 times. So that tells you how much their defense saved their butts. Because 2 of those turnovers were in Titans scoring position, and they walked away with a field goal both those times because of the defense. So unless the offense picks it up, it might be kind of similar to the Peyton year that Denver won the Super Bowl, where they just rely insanely heavily on the defense to just hope the offense is competent enough to score some points.
You heard it here first. Andy is claiming the Denver Broncos are going to make it to the Super Bowl.
I claim that every year.
No, but you declared it right here. It's like, this is going to be similar to the Peyton Super Bowl year. Well, Denver's going to the Super Bowl. If it doesn't happen.
Right. So I think the defense will, or the offense will shake off the rust and pick it up. They play Danny Dimes next week and the Colts. And most notably, the Colts are
who
down
might
there,
be the league MVP
until he faces the different defense. Which, if they could,
the Dolphins' defense
times,
is pretty much the same. It's almost a 1-to-1, probably.
If they can sack a mobile quarterback like Cam Ward 6 times, I don't know what they're going to do to a guy that doesn't run the ball.
8 times.
Oh, okay.
8 times. That's my guess.
Biggest thing is the Colts are down their 2 starting cornerbacks. So Sean Payton has been preaching like run the ball this entire week, but now with that info, you might just air it out because you're not going to have their starting cornerbacks play anymore. So
no. He's going to keep saying run the ball. It's called a red herring. So then they're just going to pass it constantly. It's like, they're planning to run against us.
Daniel Jones did have 2 rushing touchdowns last week. So
how long?
Just saying,
though.
He was 7 for 26 with 2 rushing touchdowns.
Exactly. Which tells me a lot of those might have been at the goal line.
Hold on, though. If we're going to talk about some overreactions from the NFL, I love how quickly it happened that people were like, yo, dog, Danny Dimes is in MVP talks. Like,
that
it was
is Daniel $sign to you, Zach.
I'm sorry.
Daniel Jones, 1-yard rush, touchdown. Daniel Jones, 1-yard rush, touchdown. Both of them were QB
clear mobile threat.
So the Eagles have the tush push. Do the do the Colts now with him have like a Daniel dunk or something to get him in?
Oh, I like that.
I hope so.
Dunk doesn't work, but we need to come up with something that The
issue is I don't know who the hell is pushing Danny Dimes. Like, I don't. Do they show up Alan Cox?
You could put Jonathan Taylor back there. I feel
He's
like
the only one.
he's got.
Well,
He ran for like a
theory. I
million
say,
yards against Nebraska that one time, so I think he could push Daniel Jones into the end
hey,
zone.
man, we don't talk about those days.
Yeah.
No, that's all I have for my game. Is just defense is still elite. Offense just needs to pick it up a little bit, but
It'd be
should
great
be a
if
fun
Bo
season
Nix
for Denver.
if Bo Nix could get it figured out this year too, because
Love
I have him. I have him in my league, and he did not help me last week. So
No, he didn't. He had a very pedestrian game, but I'm hoping that's just week one rust.
once
shake it off.
again, Andy over here being generous with his phrasing.
Now, to talk about a not so pedestrian second half of a performance from the old Minnesota Vikings over there.
Segue.
Very pedestrian first half.
People are saying that McCarthyism is back, which looked outside lately.
Who's the say?
But yeah, that was a tale of like I don't even know half. Like that, the fourth quarter was good. Everything else was not, and I don't know what happened, but JJ McCarthy locked in, and we could run the football.
It's
and
like-
Caleb Williams is just like, I haven't thrown a football in my life.
Outside of that first drive.
Caleb Williams continues to be who Caleb Williams was last year, and everybody's like, "Oh, Ben Johnson will fix him."
I mean, that
It's one
first
game,
drive
but-
Chicago had was
It
like,
was impressive. He
oh.
started off like 12 for 12 or something.
yeah.
And then the rest of the game, he's like, I said my piece.
I mean, if Chicago's like that of scripted versus not scripted drives, I mean, they're SOL for the season because like those scripted drives to start the game were like they were like humming the ball. You know, Caleb looked great. You know, DeAndre Swift looked great. You know, everybody got involved, and then the minute the game went on when they started going off script, you're like, oh, this is the Bears from last year again, just with Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think the most damning thing about Caleb Williams that game was, and I had to watch all
his
the
shirt that he wore under. What was he wearing? First off,
No, that wasn't where I was going with it at all.
nobody else was wearing that, but he was wearing a full baggy T-shirt underneath his compression sleeves, and it's like, what are you wearing?
Well, Andy, you
can't
can't criticize someone just because we don't understand fashion.
I understand fashion pretty well, and I know that ain't it. Nobody else on the team was wearing it, Nate. So why was he the only one?
Trendsetters.
Exactly.
No, what I was going to
Yes.
say in
The
terms
youths
of
look up to Caleb Williams. That's what they say nowadays.
Hey, hold on. That's not entirely unfair. I think there probably are some that do, but
Not any.
maybe
I
not
know.
after that game.
Any reasonable youths I know.
How many reasonable youths do you know? Hold on. Because I also know youths, and generally speaking, they're not smart. I mean, they're smart, but they're not like hip with trends, and neither am I, but like, what? Anyway, what I was going to say was that pass to DJ Moore. That was awful.
Yeah.
It was impressive how bad it was.
It didn't take long for people to be like, "Oh, all he had to do was run faster." And it's like, he is DJ Moore, not freaking Chad Johnson. What are you talking about?
Well, that's Ocho Cinco to you.
Sorry,
exactly.
You're right. Well, no, he did change his name back, so he's no longer. I mean, he's nicknamed Ocho Cinco, but he did finally change his name back. Or maybe it was either Chad Johnson or Calvin Johnson. They were both fast. They were both fast as hell. Regardless. That is DJ Moore. And I'm not disrespecting him. He is not that fast. Plain and simple.
Right.
So don't overthrow him by a mile, and you probably won't have a problem.
It's like Jordan Love last night on that first. I don't know if it was the first drive, but their first like offensive series or second offensive series where like he threw towards the end zone. The guy was wide open, and he underthrew him by like 3 yards and let the cornerback come back and make a play on it. So it's kind of like the same. Like Jordan Love can be a good quarterback. I just don't think he is precisely accurate of what he could be, which might be to Green Bay's detriment the rest of the season. Now that's obviously off topic of this game, but of the same vein that like you got to be able to lead your receivers as a quarterback in theory. Like that's the smart thing to do.
Could you imagine the Packers with a gunslinger like Aaron Rodgers?
I've only seen
Could be something.
I've only seen hypotheticals of what the Aaron Rodgers in a Green Bay uniform looks
What
like.
could that possibly look like?
God, it's oh God, who got treated? It was Adam Thielen. There we go. It was like when Thielen got traded back to the Vikings. It's like, you know, first look at Thielen in a Vikings uniform.
I loved that. I loved that.
It looks so realistic.
And it's like
Those
here's
photoshoppers did
here's
a
what
great
Adam
job.
Thielen could look like in the Vikings offense and of him making catches. Same concept.
I mean, man, those photoshoppers, one, they work quick, and two, they work well.
Yes.
Good for them. It's impressive because they had no old reference photos to go off of either. So I don't know how they did it.
But back to your point, Nate, of the game, I'm like, I remember, you know, early in the, and obviously, you know, this game is literally first half takes and second half takes of JJ. First half, like I had texted you, like it very much looked like Minnesota was just making sure he looked comfortable in the pocket, wasn't putting him in too many situations to, you know, get murdered by the Bears. But, you know, making sound, safe, smart decision passes, whether it's check down underneath routes that are like guys sit in zone, you're not airing it out, putting the ball in danger, making like JJ get comfortable with the game. And then, you know, as the game went on in the second half, I mean, literally the flip switched for him and the offense to where like JJ was a lot more confident throwing the ball. You know, that touchdown to to Jefferson. I mean, that was a tight window. Probably could have been a little higher for Jefferson, but you know, Jefferson's making that catch. And then yeah, his touchdown run to put the Vikings ahead. I mean, that's a play that you see not out of a rookie. That's a guy that's played in the league for 4 or 5 years, knowing when to take off and run when I need to make a play. He did that, you know, very first game. Like instincts tell him, like, all right, nothing's open. I see the lane. I got to take off and run. Versus, oh, I got to wait for the receiver to open as a rookie type quarterback. So, I mean, you saw the, you know, progression for the first half to the second half in just such a short amount of time. And obviously, you want him to keep building on that as the season goes on. You just don't want this to be a one game.
For what it's worth, the plan worked.
Yeah.
We got Chicago to think he was actually a bad quarterback,
right?
And then it turned out
all part of the game plan.
So that's what I was most impressed about. Is like you see that in rookie quarterbacks. I mean, I compare it to Bo Nix last year. I mean, it took him, you know, multiple games to kind of get in that rhythm of getting more comfortable with the offense and just the NFL game itself. And then you kind of saw it on a second half with JJ. Well, again, you're talking about one small sample size of one game and one half versus the other 16 games that he has to play the rest of the season. But I mean, it's a very good start for, you know, obviously the Vikings and his confidence going forward.
I was going to say, that's what I'm really excited about because, I mean, if that trajectory from the first half keeps on going for the rest of the game, it's an entirely different conversation going into next week and the rest of the season, even of like, ooh, how do you shake that one off?
Right.
As opposed to like, oh my God, we just had this incredible comeback victory and like he had, you know, that touchdown run, the pass to Aaron Jones was even.
Oh yeah, he floated it right only where Jones, right between those two defenders, right only where Jones was.
And I saw a quote too from Aaron Jones. He said, I can't remember at what point, but he said that JJ came into the huddle. I think it was after he threw the interception, and they were down. Like things were starting to trend better, but not great, you know. And Aaron Jones said that JJ came into the huddle. He was just like, "Would you want to be anywhere else?"
I saw that too. I was like, "Oh,
it's like
he was a football guy right there." And then apparently, I think I saw something else that like Kevin O'Connell apparently like looked at him at halftime and said, "You're gonna win this" or something. I'm just like, so I was gonna ask, did JJ play preseason? I assume he had to do a little.
I think he did one game. I think he played the first one.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the kicker is that, you know, we're seeing that a lot of teams Not that him not playing all the preseason games. I understand why he didn't. Like, it's week 1. You got to get that rust off.
Right.
Another team we're going to talk about here probably shortly also had to do that after, week 1. So, no.
Yeah, and that's
The Ravens?
No. Well, they shook the rust off, but, they didn't get all of it, I guess.
No.
except for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is
Still
in mid-season form.
had the best and worst game of his life all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's Ravens football, baby. I assume. I don't know. I'm not a Ravens fan.
Which that game, incredible to start the first Sunday night game of the year. That had everything of
Cinema.
Ravens were like, this is their year. They're a juggernaut, AFC champs. To they blew it. The Bills are the best.
And the best part about that game to me wasn't just that it was a crazy wild shootout already as it was. I guess hold on before we get too far into this. Nate, was there any more on the Vikings before we start transitioning to them?
The Hall of Fame jacket is already being made for JJ McCarthy. That's all I got. So yeah, on to Ravens Bills.
Right on. The most impressive thing to me was that the Bills. It wasn't one of those games where you watch the refs kept them in it. There were a couple times maybe you could argue that, but the Bills literally came back and did it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Especially
so
with 4 minutes left. They were down by 15, right?
Yeah, I think it was 11 minutes in the game when it was 40-25. I do believe.
See, and I thought it was 8.
No, they were down 40-25 at one point.
I knew that. I'm saying 8 as in 8 minutes left.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it.
Regardless, it was not the entire fourth quarter. It was
Yeah.
Yep.
So
at least
Not a
somewhere
lot of
around.
time.
the Ravens
Although I did
scored
say
40.
I
40-25
called it.
with when the Ravens scored was 11:42 left in the fourth.
I did call it completely seriously. I did say too
But
much
the
time
Bills
left.
scored all of their points within
did.
4 minutes, and that was the last 4 minutes of the game.
I mean,
I did say there was too much time left, and there was.
the fumble that happened that Derrick Henry had was again, it wasn't like one of those where you watch and it was like, oh, the Bills had a bunch of luck happen. I mean, I think there was some of
what
that.
it reminded me of? Every single groin kick Nebraska loss.
You had to go there, didn't you?
But
you
it
had
did,
to go there.
It did. That Iowa game a couple years ago where we were up by 21-8 or something like that, and then the blocked punt happens.
Oh,
and then
man.
everything after that was Iowa.
The entire vibe in the stadium shifted.
That's exactly what happened. They're up multiple scores, a fumble happens, and then all of a sudden Buffalo scores all the winning points, bring in a kicker that hasn't played on any team the past however many months. He was practicing at a high school, comes in and nails the game-winning field goal.
If anyone, like I said, if anyone was going to hit that, it was going to be Matt Prater.
I hate to bring it back to Nebraska, but that's what it felt like because we've lived those for so many years.
Well, we're not out of the woods on them yet, Andy.
No, not yet.
We are still Nebraska. This could still happen.
Well, that's what it felt like. It's just oh, you feel the tide changing now, and it did.
So here's the question that I have then. Does that kind of loss, because it sucks for the Ravens, obviously, but does that derail the rest of their season? No. I don't think so, but is that one of those losses where it's it
hurts now, but
I don't necessarily think it creates doubt in the team, but it's they had that game handedly won, and then they just threw it away. So it's okay, you got to fix that.
Good.
They are, but we also know that they like to dump it off in the playoffs and forget how to play football
which is still very cool.
Come January. So what do you do?
It's so hard to
the
take.
Chiefs lose their opening game last year to the Lions.
No, they won because they should have lost because Isaiah Likely, his toe was out by 2 inches.
Yeah.
Those were the Ravens should have scored and won the game, but Isaiah Likely's toe was out by an inch or two.
Arguably,
it was 2 years ago that they lost.
Well, maybe they are cursed.
Arguably, if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble that football, the Ravens probably win it.
Yeah. Like I said, he had the best and worst game of his life all at once.
If Adrian Martinez doesn't fumble that football.
Unfortunately, I do think the Jets have a quarterback now. So 49ers, though, they might need a quarterback.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. Hold on. Timeout. Did you just say you think the Jets have a quarterback right now and you're putting that in Justin Fields?
That's why I said I think.
He sure did.
Hold on. Think is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Justin Fields had a good game. Let's see how he does the rest of the season before we start.
They do play the Bills next.
I was just going to say, though, they play the Bills next week, though, so it might not be much.
My point. Although the Bills' defense looked a little sus with Wusikins, too.
They look sus every year. They just have Josh
just happen to have someone with a rocket arm.
Yeah, no.
Offense.
Yeah. Man drinks rocket fuel every morning.
They beat Detroit last year, and that was what, a 50-51 game or something like that. I mean,
yep,
that was a shootout.
Big 12 is back, baby.
No.
Defense is optional.
I think that was before Detroit's defense took a dump. That might have been after, but either way, I mean, the Bills will put up points. Now, whether they stop them, I don't know. Sean McDermott's never been high on defense. Let's just say.
Hey, I mean, if you can score more than the other team, it's kind of all that matters.
You can score 50 points, but if you give up 51, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Speaking of scoring more than the other team,
Bengals.
I know a certain team last week in college that scored a couple points, but actually not enough, but still a lot of points.
Segue. We will talk about. We'll make this more Nebraska specific, and then throw in some Arch Manning sucks chat. Obligatory chat. So,
hey, he won last weekend. What are you talking about?
We did not talk about Cincinnati's game because we did not record last week due to conflicting things in people's lives that may or may not have involved us. We don't know. Jury's still out, but
really no way to know.
There's really no way to know.
If you find the Patreon link, it's probably somewhere in there. But
yeah, please
there's
find
a lot of at this point. There's a lot of hidden stuff in there.
Zach's got like some big things coming up on his horizon, and he really needs to eat.
Yes, I do. I just need to be able to eat in general, guys.
Right.
The trash pandas are starting to take all of my food now. It's starting to piss me off.
Did you tell them no?
Yeah, but they're raccoons. They don't listen to me.
No.
Have you ever parlayed with a raccoon? Trust me, they don't care.
Did they bet?
Would you be surprised if I said yes?
I might.
Did they do the perfect parlay for this weekend?
Not that kind of parlay. I'm talking like the old sword fights. We are not the same.
We are not.
My bookie is a raccoon. What do you mean?
Oh, is that who? So did Shohei really hire a raccoon in disguise?
Oh,
that was Ipe?
That's how he got away with it.
That's an impressive. It's an impressive.
Ipe is the fall guy. He's still with the raccoon.
He was a raccoon in a trench coat.
This goes all the way to the top.
It's either a really small trench coat or a really big raccoon. We'll never know.
I don't want to find out if it's a really large raccoon. That's just like a modified bear at that point.
A human-sized raccoon would be dangerous as hell. I mean, bears, to your point, bears are already dangerous, but they're the type, if you ignore them, they'll ignore you.
They're not going to look like cute little robbers.
Yeah. A human-sized raccoon would absolutely do damage to another person. They have no care in the world. They will fuck your shit up.
What if they're just cool, though?
Yeah, what if they just want to vibe?
Well, and I mean, we'll sit down and have a beer, we'll chat. Whatever, man. I don't know. I try not to hang out with them.
That's next guest on the pod.
Ooh, your trash pandas.
I'll see if I can get him. I'll see if I can get him on. It might be a short convo.
But anyways, to year 3 of Matt Rule's start. Nebraska played a quote-unquote neutral game in Kansas City.
Hey,
To open the
arguably
season.
to our favor.
To our
The
favor,
house that Dylan Raiola built.
so allegedly. There's some other guy that looks like him that plays in there too, but we don't really know.
He's not undefeated right now, so
Have we ever really thought that Patrick Mahomes was copying Dylan? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
people always say it's the other way around, but like, maybe Dylan did it first. Like, we don't really
How
know.
do we know that?
Yeah, there's been no evidence of it.
It's
But
in the Patreon link.
Nebraska opened up the season on the neutral site road against another Power 4 team of the Cincinnati Bearcats, which at the time when this was scheduled was when Cincinnati was still the Group of 4 powerhouse of Luke Fickell's team. So some of that lackluster came off, but they were still a fairly decent team after the Luke Fickell days, and Nebraska got a good dosage of that on that Thursday night in Kansas City when they came away 22-17 with the victors, with a game that certainly had all the hallmarkings of Nebraska going up multiple scores and almost blowing it like we've seen the past 10 years. But maybe a little bit of fortune has now started to shine upon said program since we apologize to Frank Solich. Still haven't sacrificed Little Red yet, but we're working on that one.
We could just do that anyways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Doesn't have to be for a reason. We could just
The fact that they brought back the old Herbie Husker, but have
Yes.
yet to get rid of Little Red tells you all you need to know.
Right. A lot of the questions that we had coming into the season, specifically for this game alone before we get to Akron, were what does the defensive line look like when you're trying to replace Ty Robinson and Nash Helpmaker? What do the linebackers look like with some of these transfers? We knew the secondary. Yeah, the answer was not great. We knew the secondary was going to be decently veteran, at least with Sierra Wright, Malcolm Hartzog, Deshaun Singleton, Buford, all back there. So we knew they had depth and experience back there. It was, what does the front four look like for the defense? And then obviously on the offensive side, what does year 2 of Dylan look like? What do the transfer wide receivers of Dan Key, Hunter look like? What does Luke Lindemeyer look like? How do they use Heinrich? And how does Emmett Johnson look under now a fully offensive Dana Holgerson system there? At least from that game, got some answers, still waiting on some other answers until we get to Akron, at least. Well, I don't know how much we could take away from Akron either. They're a bad football team.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so much.
Mainly
only
that Nebraska
measured
is bad.
reactions.
Only measured reactions.
The one thing you absolutely can take from the Akron game, which was a shutout, by the way, is that Nebraska is 1,000% back.
Yes.
Oh, the first shutout since 2009, to be specific.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. They're back.
Dylan looked as good of a promising year 2 start that he could have had in that Cincinnati game. Protected the ball, got lucky with the strip sack that he got, like that he fell on and recovered. But outside of that, besides the almost near pick 6 that he threw on 4th down, which would have been a pick 6 if the guy caught it. But outside of that, I mean, stat wise, protected the ball, didn't put the ball in harm's way. Was 33 for 42, 243, two passing touchdowns, and one really good play by Isaiah Hunter to grab that 50-50 ball for the touchdown, but Dylan to put it only where Isaiah can catch it. And then the ballsy 4th down RPO to hit a wide open Dan Key, which good by Dana Holgerson to recognize it, because after that came out, Rule said, like, yeah, we ran that play on 3rd down, saw the look. They came back to the huddle and said, yeah, run this play again. Day Key was wide open. Ran the exact same play again, and Key was wide open for the touchdown. So Dylan looked. Yeah, right. Dylan looked as poised as ever. Emmett Johnson, 25 carries for 108 yards. We get to
that
Akron.
Is not sustainable, by the way.
That's not. Yeah, no, that's. Yeah, I do not want that the entire season.
I think Emmett will be a workhorse, but he cannot be the only workhorse.
25 touches for 208 yards, not 25 touches for 108 yards.
Correct.
Because that averages under 5 yards a carry, which is not sustainable for the offense going forward, nor for Emmett's health of being a healthy running back the rest of the season.
I will say, I think Cincinnati starting with Cincinnati kind of told us a lot, but the worst part is we started with him week 1. I wish we
Yeah.
would have been able to start with Akron and Houston Christian, then into
And then
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Only because I would be very curious how different we would play Cincinnati. Even if we just played Akron first, I would be very curious to see how different we would play them now. But we still came away with the win. But there were just a lot of question marks that I had just in general. Dylan was not one of them, to be fair.
No.
I know we had talked about
Dylan's
that,
great.
but there were some. I mean, there were some. I call them jitter plays, which was just like the almost pick six. Some of them were odd. You expect that.
Right.
Cleaned it right up in Akron anyway, which again,
Right.
you can't take too much from Akron if I'm being totally honest, but
They were
we did shut them out.
Fair weather.
No, I said
football team.
I said I wasn't buying into it until we see what we do with Michigan.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Defense comes away with 2 turnovers. The fumble right before halftime, which swung instead of going into half, 6-3, it was 13-3, because you get the fumble and then you get the Isaiah Hunter 50-50 touchdown ball. And then obviously the pick at the end of the game to seal the game from Hartzog.
What a turnaround by Hartzog too, to have that penalty play
have the
before and
penalty.
then just go and take the ball.
Yeah.
For the very next play.
And Cincinnati beat Bowling Green this past weekend, and Sorsby threw for 300 something yards. So to hold them to 69 or however many passing yards he had, was not one. That's a very hard feat to do. Now, granted, Cincinnati figured out that they could probably run him more at the end of the game. Probably a little too late for their liking, but still to hold any Power 4 quarterback to less than 100 yards passing on any given day is pretty darn good. So obviously Cincinnati saw something with our secondary that they didn't want to test too much, because they really didn't. And when they did, Sorsby threw the pick. So and then you take away from the Akron game, the secondary, again, Akron, disclaimer, bad football team, but Nebraska held them under 100 passing yards again. So the secondary is there in terms of teams notice that there's veteran experience back there and haven't really tested them. Now, granted, the secondary also probably we're all going to know a lot more about this team after the Michigan game rather than Akron and Houston Christian. We'll put that out there now. I don't think we can take much from Akron or Houston Christian of what Nebraska is going to be like until they play Michigan. Then we're going to kind of know, how does Nebraska really stack up against a true power opponent. Not that Cincinnati wasn't. We did learn some things about the power rush on defense. The front 4 might need some time to get there, but there's not really a whole lot of resistance right now. I mean, Nebraska just got their first sack of the season against Akron, and that was halfway through the 3rd quarter, even, or it might have been in the 4th quarter. So
yeah, that was not great.
Yeah, I mean,
that wasn't great.
And at first, I was like, they got to Sorsby, but Sorsby's just a good mobile quarterback that he got out of a lot of them. So I'm like, oh, I chalked that up to Sorsby being a good quarterback to get out of sacks. Akron's quarterback, that's probably should have had him on the ground 4 or 5 times, but they just couldn't get to him. So how much of that is, the pass rush might be not as there as we maybe want it to be. So how does John Butler kind of approach that?
Akron has an elite offensive line.
I don't know about that.
Those are words.
Those are words.
Those are words. But then, yeah, from the Akron game, I mean, obviously, he wanted Matt to go for 2. He didn't. Party pooper.
Should have been 69-0.
Should have been 69-0. But obviously, given the opponent, but I thought that was Dylan's best game as a Nebraska player.
The Akron game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
again, bad defense, but he was, I mean, he looked good. And then that that last passing touchdown he had to Dane Key was rolling out of the pocket, puts it only where Dane Key can get it on the run at the very edge of the corner of that end zone for a touchdown. I mean, that was a beautiful pass too. And Nebraska wanted more explosive plays, and everybody was calling for it. We got a lot of explosive plays against Akron.
Did. My 2 takeaways from both games, I'll do one for each. My first one from Cincinnati. How about called him Cincinnati? don't know where the hell that came from.
Cincinnati.
my first takeaway from the Cincinnati game, which is kind of twofold, is a lot of questions, but I think Cincinnati is going to be a good, not great team. And so we played until the end, and obviously that's what won it for us. I know I remember saying this. Of course, I had quite a few beers that night, so I was like, "Ugh." But I remember at the end of that game, I was like, we got so lucky that we won the way that we did, but we need that. And Nebraska hasn't had luck for freaking years. So, and Malcolm, to his credit, made the play to seal the game and win it. Not taking that away. It was just, if they would have kept running it, they would have easily been able to at least tie the game. And that's what I mean is, for whatever reason, they decided to take a deep field shot like that at that time when they had plenty of time to keep running it. Like, I don't want to say we didn't deserve the win, but there were a lot of points where I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I think we squeezed one out real luckily, but Nebraska hasn't had luck. So we took luck away from it, and that's fine.
Right. Those are the games that we've lost 10 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
10 years.
Exactly. We played the correct play we needed on defense, won the game
for
on that, and we do not
Correct.
apologize for win. I've come around on that. The second thing that I took away from Nebraska so far and from Akron is that it's been a long time since we've seen a shellacking from a Nebraska team. And no disrespect to Akron at all, but we were supposed to win that game. But I legitimately remember saying that I don't think we cover in the Akron game, not because Nebraska wasn't good enough, because I could see them getting that up at halftime and be like, you know what, we're just going to lay off the gas. We don't need to kill them. They did not do that. I wasn't expecting a shutout to begin with. So getting a shutout and winning against a team that we were supposed to by the margin that we did, even though it wasn't 69-0, I was like, we haven't seen this for a long time. So I was very pleased. Clearly, Matt Rule wasn't at halftime. I loved that.
As we now know,
the leaked video of him at halftime,
quote unquote leaked / planned video.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a lot to be optimistic about Nebraska football. But like I said, I can't fully buy into it yet until I see how we do against Michigan. And even then, I'm going to be still a little hesitant because Michigan doesn't necessarily look that great this year either.
No,
they look fine, and they're going to play us hard because it's Michigan, and they're they're a higher team than everybody else that we're going to have played at that point. But still Michigan, and they don't
Jury's
seem
still
like
out on Bryce Underwood.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I piggyback off that. Like I just remember losing to Northern Illinois and Troy and close games against Arkansas State, North Dakota.
The old Tanner Lee interception game. Oh boy.
Like that hasn't really been a guarantee that we win or even have like comfortable wins against teams that we really should.
That's fair. Akron, there was no question.
As good or bad as Akron is or isn't, like they did what they were supposed to do, and it was fun to watch.
They did it candidly too. You're correct.
There was no doubt about it. I mean, there was a little in the kind of first half where they were just, I don't know, screwing around and running weird plays at the goal line and fumbling at the goal line. But
I would argue that was the first quarter.
The first quarter.
It looked good, and it was convincing, and who knows how good Akron is or isn't, how this even translates past even Houston Christian, but something that hasn't happened in
quite a while,
over a decade.
Yeah,
and so that's,
if nothing else,
at the very least,
it, to your point, also leads into knocking more rust. So from week 1 to 2, you see that's when most teams take their big jump, and Nebraska has even come out and said that they want to keep incrementally getting better. Which, if that's the case, and they do get better, and then all of a sudden we get to Michigan and we see that, the front four on the defensive line have kind of figured it out. Maybe not necessarily quite there, but they're more prepared, they're more ready, and they play Michigan better than they played Cincinnati. We're in for a good year, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not buying in until after Michigan. We'll see.
That was the good thing with Akron, was that, yes, again, who knows how bad they might actually be, but even the defense, you could tell that they cleaned up a lot of things, and they weren't just letting. Because I mean, a game like that against Akron, that's we accidentally let a 70-yard touchdown run out of nowhere in the third quarter. That's absolutely something they've done in the past. They didn't do that this time. And you
to
tell
your
they were
earlier
tightening
point,
some of those screws.
And to your earlier point, how long has it been since Nebraska has played a game? Like, you're supposed to win this. They left no question after that game. You're right. I 1000% agree. They were supposed to win the game. We all knew that. But how many times have we watched where it at halftime is a 34-14 type game or something, and you're just like, how did we let Akron score 2 touchdowns?
Right.
And then my only other takeaway from the first 2 weeks, it's just that obviously the offenses looked good. Different parts here and there have flashed, especially Hunter and Johnson seem to be kind of stepped into their own. But my biggest sticking point is Dylan has just looked really comfortable.
Yeah.
Even when there's pressure on him, he just doesn't seem like he's frazzled. I think I was telling Zach the other day where there was maybe one pass in the Cincinnati game that looked a little rushed. But he looks like he's settling
reading
in.
Defenses and he's reading the game. Yeah.
I've been listening to like Matt Rules. So like he's on the Pat McAfee show now. I've listened to his podcast a couple times. And the thing that he's when it comes to like Dylan, the things that he's preached to him have been I want him to play football or play quarterback. Not be he doesn't say it like I don't want him to be Pat Mahomes, which that's not a bad thing inherently. It's more he doesn't want the highlight plays. He doesn't want the weird sidearm things or the behind the back. Just play the quarterback position. And that's 100% what I've seen, to Nate's point, these last 2 games, is that outside of, what did we say, 2 errant throws in the Cincinnati game, which I think Cincinnati was just playing us very well, is 1000%. He's played quarterback at a very high level. I think he has taken that next step. And again, how much do you take from the Akron game and Cincinnati? But he still had to make the throws. He had, what was it, like 20 throws in a row that were 20 completions in a row.
Yeah.
Which was a school record between the 2 games.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's one. You still have to be able to do that. You can't, we can sit here and say, oh, Akron was a bad team. Sure. He still had to make the throw and it still had to be caught or catchable. He's been doing that. He's been playing. It may not look as flashy, which, we've said, but Matt Rule is doing exactly what he needs to do. And the quarterback coaches, I don't care if it's flashy. If we win, it could be the ugliest throw I've ever seen, but if it gets where it needs to go, I don't give a damn. If we're winning. Yeah.
And then special teams. It's just
haven't worried about it.
Light years better.
Haven't worried about it,
which is incredible. We have a kicker. I mean, that obviously, when he came out for his first try against Cincinnati, everybody's like, what's this
everybody held their breath. Wasn't that also like how far was it? It was like 52,
51 or 52, and he had a good extra 5 yards on it too. Drilled that, and then again, at least for the Cincinnati game, I mean, Nebraska doesn't put themselves in better positions to win that game unless Archie puts 2 of those 3 punts that he did, within the 15-yard line, like he did.
Archie Wilson, to me, was arguably the outside of Dylan. Like, Dylan played a great game in Cincinnati, easy MVP. But like, if I had to pick somebody else, Archie, because with that punt,
when you needed those punts and when you needed to pin them deep, he did. Obviously, he didn't get to play the Akron game, which
what a weird problem to have. I so badly wanted to see him kick one.
And it's really unfortunate because like this, his first couple of weeks are when his family is here to see the games, and he doesn't even play.
Hey, he came in the Cincinnati game.
I know.
So I mean, arguably, and
it's a sad, funny problem.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then obviously Mike Eckler made it a big point to return more kickoffs and punts, and Ja'Cory Barney had some really good punt returns against Akron.
You
I
could
saw
tell
a stat.
so badly that one, like he was waiting for like one or two of them to break.
Yeah,
and he would just get tripped up
broke
by
a couple
something.
of those.
Nate and I you were at the game, Andy, but Nate and I
Yes.
were like, we were video calling each other, and every time he would catch it, we were like, "Is this the one?" And he would get like 5 yards, and you're like, "Oh, he's about to break. He's about to break."
And then it'd be
And
like a
he fell.
shoestring tackle.
Yeah.
and I was like, "God!" I felt
Corey
so
loves
bad
those
for him
loves
because
to get shoestring tackled.
I
Like that.
felt so bad for him.
Was it, I think Rutgers last year on that fake punt where he should have housed it and then got tripped up by the one linebacker that was in his, or like the one defender that was in his way. That should have been it. But yeah, it's obviously Eckler's made it a big point to make kickoff and punt returns more a part of their game instead of just fair catching it now.
Oh, you're
I know
not
a
just
stat that
supposed
I
to
saw.
ignore that part of the game?
Well, not generally. I know a stat that I saw. I think Ja'Cory in that game, I think accounted for over 60% of all the punt returns Nebraska had all of last season.
Yep.
And just that game alone.
That's all right.
And he had 89 punt return yards last game against Akron, and that was like over 60% of how many Nebraska had all last season.
That's insane.
So we are probably going to eclipse that maybe next game.
It 1000% clearly makes a difference to have a special teams coach, though. So
yeah. And I mean, they blocked they got lucky with the doink to keep the shutout, but then they blocked the other field goal attempt from Akron. So that's, we've got a kicker. We've got special team or punt returns figured out. Kick return, I don't remember who's back on kick return, but I'm sure whoever's back there, they're going to keep returning it because that's what Eckler wants. So, yeah, anytime we don't have to talk about special teams costing us a game or in a negative way, I mean, it's kind of like the silent good thing is if you don't have to mention them, then they did a good job. There wasn't anything noteworthy that they had to talk about. So, yeah, special teams it's weird, but we love it. We don't have to fire anybody into the sun on special teams.
I was gonna ask, do we have a fire into the sun from the first 2 weeks?
And
we've got to say, I mean, we got to bring back. We've got to bring back the segment. Okay, I've got one, but it's gonna be weird. But hear me out. I'm gonna go with Akron's defense for not getting us at least to stop one time, so Archie could punt it because that's really mean to his parents.
That's fair.
Yes,
that's fair.
That is, Akron's defense deserves that. Right to the sun.
Yeah, they should have absolutely got. So back to the point that we were like, oh, I don't know if Nebraska's gonna cover.
34 points is a lot to cover, regardless of what team you are.
Little fake.
I was but again, I explained why. But I expected that Akron was going to do something freaking weird and somehow stop us for like the first 2 drives. Only because I thought like
through the game.
I thought Nebraska would try to do some weird plays that would get them into spots where like, oh, Akron just had the better hand on the ball for a pass or whatever. So good that Nebraska didn't do that, but also real mean of Akron to not get a 3 and out so Archie could punt it. Although I think they did they actually, there had to be a 4th down for Nebraska in there somewhere, and I'm pretty sure they actually like went with it anyway. Oh, they did, yeah, because they had the 4th down. Yeah, they had the 4th down play to get the goal line. Yeah,
the Heine push that went nowhere.
That was tough to watch.
That's a tough look.
That was very bad.
Considering what the final score of the game was, that's a tough look to not convert that.
What really, I think that one that upset me was more just like,
I mean, plus side is you got a safety on the next drive. Or like you got a safety out of it. So like it's not all lost, but that's 5 extra points you gave.
It was all according to plan, actually. That was they didn't want that touchdown. They wanted to see if their defense could force safety.
They did. After getting screwed the first time on the refs, but
all right.
Neither here nor there.
Another fire into the sun. Just
Matt
very
Rule's
specific. No, was just that play. That fourth down play.
Quote unquote leaker of the video fire into the sun.
So
Are
we're firing Will Compton into the sun.
Well, yeah, he just tweeted it out.
I'm pretty
He
sure
didn't
he was
say
the one
it.
that got like the okay to do it, though. He was the first one I saw that leaked
No,
that.
it was 100%. Like, Rule knows what he's doing. Like,
Yes,
who
of
am I going to
course.
give this video to? The guy with the biggest platform of Nebraska social media right now is Will Compton. Like, of course you're going to
That's
give
what
the
I'm-
video to him.
That's what I'm saying. So
I'm just
Like,
saying, he could have
that's
given it to
100%
us.
planned.
I'm
Could've
not
given it
arguing
to
that it
us.
wasn't planned.
Like, you're going to tell me you got a leaked video that's very well edited with cuss words already bleeped out to make it look like that they weren't supposed to be in the locker room? Like, give me a break. No, it was planned.
I'm just saying.
Or Matt Rule's really good at censoring himself.
Wouldn't be
Could be.
shocked.
That
You know-
anytime he
No.
says a cuss word, like he automatically, like the sound just comes out of him that gets bleeped.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
So I thought Will Compton's was uncensored, and then the ones that like the news stations picked up, those then censored. I could be wrong. I thought Will's was uncensored.
It might be, but all the ones I've seen have been censored, so I just assumed it was the same video.
Well, yeah, but either way, all I thought you were saying is whoever leaked that should be fired into the sun. So I was like, I don't know if we want to be firing. I don't know if we want to be firing Will into the sun. Is all I'm getting at.
No, the guy that videotaped it
Fair enough.
was probably an employee of the
Yeah, it
football
was somebody
team.
on the media team. 1000% somebody on the media team.
So it sounds like in their place we fire Little Red into the sun.
Absolutely,
He's still around.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Technically-
until we fire him into the sun.
Technically, we
Sure.
have 2 weeks to pull from here. So it could be anything from the Cincinnati game, too.
True.
Bryce Benhart.
He doesn't even play here anymore.
I got another one, and we'll just call this good then. The Cincinnati athletic director for his own team. Why the hell did you decide to have it at Kansas? It was for money, but like, why did you decide to have it at Kansas City? Because arguably, if Cincinnati would have had a home game, there's a realistic chance that Cincinnati could have won that game. The crowd
but
did a lot for
the
Nebraska.
money.
It's the different. He was thinking of the billionaires.
I'm just saying.
That's fair, Nate. He was
can
thinking
fire-
of the
we can-
billionaires.
We can fire the Cincinnati AD into the sun. He's probably a nice enough guy. I don't know why we would do that, but arguably
True.
could do it. That's all I'm saying.
With that preview, what little we know about Houston Christian. I don't know much other than they updated the point spread today to open at minus 42.5.
We are the second highest spread behind Penn State over Villanova at 47.5.
I forgot.
Oh, and Baylor
Villanova has a
Sanford was also 47.5.
Villanova does have a football team, don't they? Why?
Sure
I don't
do.
know.
Sure do.
So, was anybody surprised by the score of the Penn State game last weekend, by the way?
A little
I-
bit.
I was
Considering
surprised
who
it
they were
wasn't
they beat
higher.
the week before. It was like 46 to something.
Exactly. I'm not saying like Penn State isn't good, but what I'm saying is like they should have won that game like we won that game. There were like
Correct.
5 shutouts in the Big Ten or something like that. Maybe
And they were not one of them.
They weren't one.
Even bigger news though was
Actually, no, they were.
certain
It was 34 to
certain-
nothing, but it was not as big of a shutout as it should have been.
a certain team in Central Florida also won with 68 points. They gave up a touchdown.
So we're better.
Seems like someone's winning that battle.
We're better.
Let's wait and see for both our sakes how
No.
it comes in conference.
We
play
should
comes
declare a
around.
winner right now. Clearly not an overreaction.
I mean, I'm fine with that. However, I don't think we should do that.
You heard it here first.
The question I will have for you guys is: will Nebraska win by more than the? Outside of saying will they cover the spread, do you think Nebraska wins by more Saturday than?
More than they
Last
beat
week.
Akron by?
Yes. My gut says no because that's hard to replicate back-to-back weeks, and 60 it's a lot of points.
I say
Not
my
saying
gut
but-
says no,
win by
but
a lot,
like
but to win by 68 as well is also very hard to do back-to-back weeks.
gut says no, but like they should, right?
Yes, they should.
That's the issue.
here's
But
something
the law
that
of averages says no.
here's something that I think we're forgetting is that those 68 points were not just Dylan and the first team.
They were the
offense.
backups too.
The backups, and then the third stringers. And I don't
And
know
the
if they
backup and third
scored.
strings look great. But now if they don't look great next week, then yeah, they're not going to put up that many points once the starters go out.
Right. So
Hey, I know it's a hard question. 'cause
I
you're
want
like,
to
you wanna
say
yes.
yes. I don't think so. And I
That's-
think because I think this game is going to be used for not necessarily like weird packages, but they're going to try to get Dylan to do some stuff that maybe they haven't run in a game yet. Be like, let's just see what this looks like game speed. Let's
Right.
see like what some of the backups can do. Maybe the backups will come in earlier kind of thing.
They're just
I
gonna
don't know,
keep
man.
running the tush push until it works.
We got to get this to more than a yard to carry.
like this sounds bad.
They got to pick up Heinrich and run him down the field.
This sounds bad because no team should be like Nebraska shouldn't overlook any team. But I could very much see this being almost like a scrimmage type game for them.
Yeah.
To where
And that's-
it's not 68 points.
It's kind of like Michigan, I think, plays. God, I forgot who they play. They play a similar type inferior opponent this week.
Central
I'm also
Michigan.
kind of, the Connor Stallions game.
Does Central Michigan get revenge?
I mean, I'm kind of same with like your point, Zach. I'm also wondering if like Michigan, they're probably going to beat Central Michigan, but do they kind of have a semi-type letdown win where they're also looking forward to us next week too? And Nebraska still very well could cover the spread tomorrow or Saturday. We don't know.
I think they'll cover the
You don't
spread. I just don't foresee 68 or
Again.
more points.
And if they don't, do people say, "Oh, that's a letdown win"? They're thinking about Michigan too much, or is it hard to replicate 68 points, which it very much is.
I think it totally depends on where the game's at halftime.
Right.
Like if we're up by like 38 at halftime,
Rule's
I'm not
gonna yell it up again.
that I guess that's what I mean is like what is, because he made a comment in that speech of, if you're not hitting my standard, if you don't agree with that, then you can leave kind of thing. I was like, so okay, what is the standard for a team that's arguably probably not even quite as good as Akron?
Right.
Do you want to hear the standard? Standard is screws by 90.
Oh, yeah. They were close.
Rule is an
They were
avid
close.
listener.
I'm just saying.
Rule is an avid listener. Oh, my damned. This whole time.
But yeah, I agree with you, Zach. I don't think they'll win by that much, but they will cover.
Although, I mean, to the devil's advocate point, we were also talking about how we didn't think they would cover against Akron because we've known them to just give up around halftime. Like Nebraska still was going to win that game, but we didn't think they would cover last week, and they went and scored 68.
It depends what kind of halftime talk Rule wants to give this week.
Yeah. What I told you guys, like the last time Nebraska beat somebody that badly was, Scott's probably biggest win in terms of like most points scored was like that 52-7 Northwestern game.
And he still gave up a touchdown then.
Yeah.
So it's like
that
doesn't diminish the fact
really
that they
kind
won.
of beat down on somebody was 4 years ago with that game.
God, what was there was something else I can't remember what it was. It's gone anyway, but whatever.
Anyways, are you ready to watch Oregon murder Northwestern on a small, tiny football field?
I am terrified for the psyche of anyone associated with Northwestern. Like Mike Gundy might be
cool
coach.
Lakeside Stadium, but like big noon kickoff being there just for the stadium vibes.
You couldn't push Wisconsin, Alabama into big noon kickoff.
Right. And looking at Northwestern still has to play Penn State this year.
Poor Northwestern.
And USC and Michigan and Illinois.
Oh my God. Oh,
I'd even Purdue USC is better than what that one's gonna end up.
They could have waited till Minnesota Northwestern to put it on the tiny Lake Stadium.
speaking of the other Illinois team though, Illinois themselves, Illinois proper.
Northwestern.
So, do we think Illinois? Like, I think Illinois is legit, but are they as legit as they're being ranked? I understand why they're ranked as high, but do we think that their ranking is correct? Because I think they're too high.
It is hard just because I mean, they lost some of their receivers, but Drew Aller is still good.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Penn State. Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier's their quarterback. Drew Aller's Penn State. Luke Altmaier's still a good quarterback. He proved that last year. He's proven it again. Now, kind of like with Nebraska's schedule, it's really hard to take anything out of the Big Ten's non-conference games just because they're scheduling all these quote-unquote weaker teams until you get the conference play. Looking at you, Indiana.
They beat a team 73-0. It doesn't matter.
It was an FCS team of Indiana State.
Well, so then in this case,
would be us.
in this case, then we have to win by 74 at least to
As I look at Signetti saying we're going to schedule like the SEC does and get to the playoff, and then the SEC said reverse. We're going to schedule 9 conference games, and everybody's got to play one non-power or like one Power 4 game every non-conference. So there goes Indiana's scheduling model out the window.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, Zach. They looked better in the second half against Duke. Now, granted, that's Duke, who was good
More
a couple
like
years ago.
Dookie.
Probably not good now. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But their
Good
first
football
conference
as they are
game,
basketball.
yeah, their first conference game is against Indiana next week. So that's going to be a good matchup for where we see both those two teams, kind of like Nebraska, Michigan. It's kind of be a good litmus test of where these teams are now as conference play gets into going, as every team has 3 sample size under their belts now. So it's so hard because I don't know what they're going to be like in conference play. They've looked good, but
I think they'll be fine. I just don't know that number 9 is where they end up at the end of the season.
And I mean, they might, because
I could even see like top 25. 9 might be a little generous relative to
might be high, but I think they could be ranked pretty high. They've got Indiana next week and then USC after that. But then outside of that, Ohio State's their toughest game of the rest of the season.
I think Ohio State is arguably the de facto number 1 right now.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Illinois they finished the season with Northwestern.
Yeah, but all those other teams, Wisconsin, Maryland, Rutgers, Washington, Purdue, all teams that they should be favored in and beat.
Should.
So it's a weather
question. How do we feel about Wisconsin? How do we feel about Wisconsin?
Well, we'll find out when they play Alabama.
Iffy. I think scrappy is the word I'd use. I don't think they're going to be bad, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be good.
I mean, they only beat Miami, Ohio 17-0. And yeah, I know Maction team, but like you should probably beat them a little bit.
Akron's also a Maction team.
We kicked their butts. So Nebraska better than Wisconsin, but also Wisconsin's schedule is hard.
Wisconsin does have Iowa, they've got Ohio a really bad schedule.
Indiana, Illinois.
I just mean Wisconsin as a concept, like because
we'll tough conference schedule.
Are you talking the football team or the state now? Because like,
and not even considering that they play Alabama this weekend.
I mean, I guess it's no end question at this point.
Well, I mean, Wisconsin as a state's all right. Like, spotted cow. It's pretty.
The cheese is immaculate.
Cheese is great. Like, it's a pretty country in the summer. Like, I don't know.
Right. But
as for the football
Fickle
team,
is the question.
I will say, I think Fickle. I don't know if the seat's hot, but it might be starting to get warm depending on how this year goes.
It's getting there.
Like at the time, though, it's actually kind of crazy too how there exists this world where we could have hired Fickle or even Matt Campbell, and
Mhm.
they're still doing. Matt Campbell is arguably doing fine at Iowa State. I don't know if he's going to be.
Should have beat Iowa by more. They just kind of got into a slog on the offense in the second half. Still pulled it out, but
As Iowa
should
makes
beat
you do.
Iowa more and more.
Yeah, Iowa 1000%.
That's their bread and butter.
Game. Yeah, they should have won that game by more. But, what do you do?
Who
was
here
it?
is excited for Iowa UMass?
I can't say I am. I gotta look because I'm curious. Here we go. Big Ten.
While you look, Zach. Like I said, the afternoon slate for Saturday is good. Like the afternoon and one good night game. But I mean, you got Georgia, Tennessee, and then you got US, South Florida, and Miami, both in the afternoon slate. And then you got A&M and Notre Dame for the nightcap of college football. So some really good primetime matchups there going forward. I mean, I guess Florida LSU could be good, although I think Florida's going to get murdered by LSU. I don't know if Billy Napier. Well, no, Napier's gonna last the rest of the season because their athletic department came out last week and said Billy's our coach for this 2025-2026 season. And if you got to put out a statement like that after 2 games, that ain't good.
Yeah.
At least when Trev did it for Scott, it was like 2 games left of the season, not 10 more games left of the season. You got to say that our coach is going to be here through the season. After 2 games, it's like having a players
was that ever
meeting.
A question?
Yeah. So yeah, some good afternoon and nightcap games for the college football slate.
All right, I remembered my question. Who is more washed between the two teams, Alabama or Clemson?
Clemson, I think.
I lean Clemson as well, but I think Alabama has an argument
They have an argument.
discussion.
I mean, when they play Wisconsin, I'll be kind of more of a litmus test for them. I didn't like Clemson's performance against LSU, and obviously they lost to
Troy.
That was the more damning one to me. At least with LSU, LSU's kind of a weird team where it's like they should be ranked. I think they're going to be good, but like Brian Kelly
you never
is
know
also
with Brian Kelly.
Exactly. He's still kind of the wild card coach wise for LSU, where it's like, how good is LSU going to be? Yeah. Top 25 generally, absolutely agreed. But Clemson.
Now Brian Kelly might have a defense for once.
Clemson looks absolutely lost right now.
That's why
I know they won. I know they beat
Clemson.
Troy. But
no, they lost to Troy.
They did?
No, they beat Troy.
Oh no, sorry.
They beat Troy.
I'm thinking of they were losing to Troy at one point.
They were losing, yes. But they came back and won.
Halftime, I think they were down.
Yeah, and they were down not small. Like it was like it was like 10 points or something.
Hey, all teams lose to Troy at once in their program life. Look at Nebraska, but some teams do, and it's all right.
Here's the thing: when Nebraska did it, it was bad. We agreed, but also it was like, Nebraska hasn't been great for a while. We weren't really expecting, we weren't expecting it. We were pissed off that we lost, but unfortunately, I say this, it was still Nebraska. Clemson should have never been in the discussion of Troy might freaking win.
Andrew Bunch started that game. Oh boy, what a name!
So
that hurts.
Maurice Washington, and then you had they had Staley Morgan and JD Spielman on that team. They lost. I think that was the game after Adrian got hurt.
Oh my!
I'm pretty sure that was I think that was the
Akron opening season flood game.
That was the Akron opening season game because then they opened to Colorado. That's why Andrew Bunch played that game because Adrian got hurt.
So if this recording gets cut off randomly, it's because I got really mad about having to remember Nebraska's first season with Scott Frost and what could have been. Damn it!
Shoot,
what could have been? Oh, what else? What other games are looking? What's the night game?
A&M Notre Dame.
That'll be a good one. I know you said that already, but I couldn't remember who it was.
Hold up.
Okay, well, my phone just decided to freeze, so I guess I'm not gonna look anything up.
What are we holding up
Miami,
about?
Miami and South Florida's on the CW.
Yeah, 3:30.
How
That
does
is
that one
incredible.
that game arguably to
Move.
me is going to be the biggest afternoon game, I
Oh
think.
my god!
I don't even think YouTube TV has the CW.
They might. I need to
don't
look.
know if
I
they
thought they
do.
did. I thought they
That
did.
is like the equivalent of when March Madness starts and everyone's like, "What channel's True TV again?"
Hey, at this point though, people know about True TV because of March Madness and Impractical
they-
Jokers.
no, because the Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, I'm pretty sure Impractical Jokers are keeping that TV channel
True TV alive.
And then March Madness certainly helps for like 3 or 4 extra months of rent for the studio for them. But like
the 99% of their revenue that they generate.
arguably, I like
Impractical
Impractical
Jokers
Jokers.
are the other 1%.
But I like Impractical Jokers, but I'm not turning on True TV just for that. Just saying.
I'm still convinced that Murr is an NBA ref, and no one can tell me otherwise.
I thought you were about to say he was like an inside agent. I was like, to what?
No, Murr is an NBA ref.
Oh,
Every play, when his name comes up on or his picture comes up on the NBA approved playoff refs, you're like, oh, there's Murr.
Yep.
there's Murr.
We got him.
Oh, I know what game I was going to ask about. The other important game to watch: Tulane and Duke.
For Tulane
Tulane.
reasons, not Duke reasons.
Well, yeah, for Tulane, obviously. But I do. This is my immediate hot take after 2 weeks of college football is that Tulane. This might not be that hot of a take, I guess, but they look good enough that they could be a Cinderella team in the playoff. They could be having a
No other Group of
discussion.
5 team looks good besides Tulane.
I mean, fair, but like I said, it's probably not a hot take. But
Turns
like,
out
it's
Boise
still,
State's entire identity was Ashton Genty.
it's still
Again, robbed of the Heisman.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Boise
Good
State looks
Lord.
like doo-doo.
But
It's
arguably,
weird.
it's
I wonder
still
why.
it is still Tulane that we're talking about here. So they can still, do Group of 5 things, which is generally regress to the mean.
It's just, I remember because that Boise State game was on before the Nebraska Cincinnati, and we're like, oh, Boise State sucks without Ashton Genty.
I remember them being ranked going into this year too, and I was like, no, I was like, I get it. And then you watch them play, it's like, never mind.
Never mind, they shouldn't be ranked anymore.
They shouldn't be ranked. Yeah, it would make sense to drop them out of the top 50.
I feel very, very confident that Tulane's going to beat the Group of 5 representative for the playoff.
As of right now, yes. But what I'm saying is, I'm waiting for them to regress to the mean because eventually, I mean, regardless, where that happens is probably in the playoff. But
Right.
I don't know.
Hey,
Maybe that's my
in the AP, Tulane only had one less vote than Nebraska, top 25. So
I guess that's what I'm
do
saying.
with that info what you will.
I feel like Tulane might be a team that could do something in the playoffs. It would be one game total, but I'm just
Coaches poll. Tulane had 55 votes. We had 19 at Nebraska. So
Nebraska's back.
Coaches are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Good for them, honestly, to be honest. Like, good for them, honestly, to be honest. Yep. It might be time to hang it up tonight, boys.
That's why we're the #1 podcast.
We give the people what they want.
That's right. We leave all the fumbles in. I don't do any editing.
But reminders, Nebraska Houston Christian, 11 a.m. Central Time on the old FS1 TV network. You get a good day slate of games and nightcap before you want to watch Canelo Crawford Saturday night on Netflix. That fight, I should say, is on Netflix. So I don't know if you want to pay for it, I guess, if you don't have it, but should be a good fight. And then, yeah, got a whole slate of NFL games on Sunday. I know Falcons Vikings on the Sunday night game. And then there's a doubleheader of Monday night games, which I guess, of the Bucks, Texans, and the Chargers Raiders. So those are games that don't really appeal.
Chargers Raiders could be good. Bucks Texans.
Not really. Not really. Not really. Obviously, the biggest NFL game this week is Super Bowl rematch, Chiefs Eagles. So,
and I'll be playing a gig on that day.
And I will let you know how things are going, whether you read your phone or not.
Every now and then, like it's one of those where I'll see a message and be like, I'll read like 2 words of it and be like, I can't do this both at the same time.
I'll send paragraphs then.
Thanks. I'll only see it off the little like top notification, so I won't actually be able to read any of it. Well, before we dive out of here, I feel like we got to at least have a pick of a game.
Pick any game?
Well, I mean, what you're watching, your picks. I've got one, and I'll start it just so you guys can think, since I kind of sprung it on you.
Yep.
Give me Georgia Tech over Clemson.
I
think Georgia Tech pulls it off.
I know this is going to be an easy win, but I just want to see what the spread of the Oregon Northwestern game is.
27.
It's only 27.5. That ain't that bad for Northwestern.
Right.
I think Oregon clearly covers.
Yeah.
But it ain't that bad. That could have been a lot worse for Northwestern. I'll take Oregon covers.
I don't know the score, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I think that might be a little generous for Northwestern.
Right.
I mean, yes, I know that they beat Western Illinois 42-7, but I don't think they're that good. Oregon, considering Oregon just kicked their 2 last opponents in
69-3 against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and then 59-13 against Montana State. So yeah, Oregon's going to win. They will cover easily.
I think I'm gonna go with my king of the SEC. I'm going Vandy over South Carolina.
Hey,
hell yeah!
I love that one.
South Carolina's kind of good this year too, so that'd be a really good upset.
Till they lose to Vandy.
I'm not going to put a pick on this game, but I am curious because I think it could be an interesting game where maybe it comes down I think Tennessee might cover against Georgia. I think it'll be close, but I think Georgia wins it. But it's 3.5 is the spread right now. And I'm just I don't know if Tennessee is, I don't know if Georgia's as good as they've been, and if Tennessee is quite as good as what they've been showing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good. I think that's gonna be one of those weird games where like both teams take a little bit to kind of figure out how each plays, and then it comes down to a drive or two, which a lot of football games do. But I mean, I think this one could be one where you're like watching the fourth quarter, like, oh, this could go somewhere. But every time I've said stuff like that, it generally becomes either a blowout or it's the exact opposite. So if you're actually listening to this and you're betting on games, do not pick what I'm picking. The Georgia Tech one could be interesting. Maybe that one's okay, but that one don't put that one on the card. That one's
put
just
it on the internet.
That one's that's just one I'm intrigued in. So that was it.
All right.
I'll give one more too.
Andy has to do it too now.
I do too. I was done looking.
Sucker. I'm gonna say Wisconsin covers Alabama minus 20.5.
I was thinking of that too. I was like maybe, but I was like, that
feels like it's got the potential to be a rock fight game.
I feel like Alabama might figure some things out and just whoop up on Wisconsin, which is why I held out. But I can see it. Like I can 1000% see it. Be like, I think that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Give me the Jags plus 3.5 at Cincinnati.
I like that one too.
It's early Cincinnati football, and Cincinnati did not look that impressive last week. Jacksonville kind of looked more competent than more recently.
That was the other news we forgot to mention. Zach has a new running back that's only a kick returner.
His name is Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby. How did we forget that? Well, to be fair, they did come out and say he is going to be in some. He might be only like a kick returner like this week, but I think they're going to be installing him into some offensive packages.
Mhm.
So not just a kick returner. It might be
No,
a
they
short term.
clearly only view him as a kick returner. That's what the report said.
I mean, hell yeah, you get a guy named Tank Bigsby. Great football name, by the
The
way.
guy that was gonna take over ETN's job in Jacksonville is now
Hell
your kick returner.
What's crazy is
Congratulations.
I saw some like people on like Fox and stuff. I remember where I saw this exactly, whether it was like Reddit or whatever, but people were like, "Oh, like this is a really good trade for the Eagles." I'm like, I'm not disagreeing, but like I don't think this moves the needle that much for them. And people are like, "Oh, like people should stop dealing with Howie Roseman." I'm like, did I miss something about Tank Bigsby being like this up and coming dude? Like, I hope
Like
he
I
does
said,
great.
he was supposed. There was genuine like momentum that he was gonna take the job from ETN this year.
I understand that. I'm just saying he's going to the Eagles, who have clearly their top running back. They're not going to use him every play, I understand, but like, you know, he might be moving the needle at Jacksonville, but he's not going to do that much in Philly. I
But
will
it's
gladly.
not bad to have on your bench from a guy
You're
who
right.
just ran a lot last year for a long time.
You're correct. It's one of those moves where I'm like, I see the value. I don't hate it. I just don't understand. I am missing something, and that's okay. I'll own it. And if he does ball out and he does great with Philly, I'll own that. I'll be like, hey, my take was wrong. I'm full of those. So I don't know. But regardless, I think it'll be interesting.
All
Is that
right.
what we're calling it?
That's what we're calling it. With that, like I said, Nebraska this weekend. You have to fight this weekend if you're into that. Good slate of college and NFL games. So fully back in the sports season until we get to back into full NBA season, which is next month.
And hockey.
And hockey.
And
Don't forget
hockey.
NHL, man. The Wild,
With
I think,
that-
just had a preseason game today or exhibition. So
So did the Preds.
God. Oh my God, it's so early.
I guess the Preds had
Football
their
just
prospect
started.
Sports
baseball
are back.
has 8 more
baby.
months. Don't you forget.
8 more months. It's
For the
expanded.
MLB playoffs. Those are going to drag out for at least 4 months.
All
With
right,
that,
dudes.
I am Andy. That is Zach. That is Nate. With your source for sports for the #1 podcast. Signing off.